Good evening. Welcome to the Stunthangar Google Live Hangout. And it is Friday night, and a lot of us. Good evening. Welcome to the Stunthangar. See, I'm a little frazzled tonight. Let me fix my YouTube channel. Friday night, and a lot of us. Sorry about that. I need to stop my YouTube channel, as I always are upon y'all to do, and I did the same thing. Anyway, it's been a long day. We had storm all day, and it's still going on here. However, not nearly as bad as it is for some of the people that are regulars in here. I see Jamie's already joined us. Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm good. I've been sitting here the last hour and a half waiting.
Really?
Oh,
sorry, I'm running late. I usually start about 9:38 or so by the time I finally get it going, but I was tired from a day of storm trooping, and went and took a nap and woke up and looked at the clock, and damn if it wasn't 9:15. So I had to knock the cobwebs out of my head with a cup of coffee and sit down. I texted Sparky and told him I was going to be a little late. I actually made it a little earlier than I appeared to be on track for, but we're not torn up or anything here in Columbia from the storm. I'm sure somebody is damaged because there was a lot of limbs down. Power's been on and off. Can't promise power's not going to go off while we're broadcasting tonight, but it's actually been on more than off. So I think the storm's starting to move off, but it must be moving really, really freaking slow, because I just looked at the radar, and we're in the right-hand side of it now, the eastern side of it, but all of the rain that's coming here is the yellow and orange type on the radar rather than just the big green. So I don't know which is worse or where it's raining harder. We didn't get flooded. That was my main worry, because when some of these tropical storms are moving up into Georgia, Alabama, a lot of times it just rains so hard on us and doesn't bring us much wind. But we've had anywhere from 30 to 40 mile an hour winds today, all day since about noon, I guess. It was when I got up at 8 o'clock this morning, it was beginning, but it didn't really amount to anything until a couple of hours later. And so we're all right here. I hadn't been out to my shop, but the yard doesn't look flooded, so probably won't have to vacuum it out. The limbs were all over the yard. I think it just cleaned out the trees from limbs that were already probably broken. Pecan trees especially drop a lot of limbs. Maple trees do too. That's what we got. But down in Florida looks pretty rough, so we may not be seeing Terry tonight. He was in smack in the middle of it on the anywhere in Florida was smack in the middle of it. The eye wall ran up the western coast. He's on the eastern coast, but that doesn't make much difference. That thing was about 10 times bigger than the whole state of Florida. So we'll wait and see how those guys down there are doing. I talked to Tom Morris on the phone this morning, and he wasn't getting much of anything, and that was when it had already started here. But looking at that radar, it looks like he got plenty of it. I don't know where he is. Huntsville, maybe?
Somewhere in Alabama. I'm not sure.
Do you know where?
Somewhere in Alabama. I'm just not certain.
Not exactly. I don't know exactly where he's at.
Well, it doesn't much matter. It looks like the whole state of Alabama and Georgia are covered. This thing's got one mother of a footprint. And they say, this is only the second time in history that we've had 2 Category 4s come on land in one season. So I didn't realize that.
It's got to be global warming.
Yeah.
The water, I think the water is warmer. That's what feeds the storms. But I'm not going to argue where global warming is coming from. I don't think it
comes from the sun.
I think it comes from the sun, and the earth produces gases with volcanic activity that adds to it too.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm not going to harp on this, but when is your refrigerator unthawed?
Run through that one more time.
When is your refrigerator unthawed?
Unthawed.
Yeah.
You mean frozen?
No, when you defrost it. When is it unthawed?
Oh, okay. Unfrozen.
Right. When
Yeah.
all the ice is gone.
Yeah.
My dad lived in Chicago when he was a young man. And of course, you know, several 1,000 years ago, Chicago was 100 foot or 100 miles under ice or something crap like that. 100 foot or whatever.
Yeah. That was the little ice age, wasn't it?
Yeah. So these people that are freaking out about global warming, we're not out of the ice age yet because all the ice isn't gone.
Maybe not. I don't know how much there was when the little ice age started. I know the northern ice cap was all intact, but hell, I don't know.
What I really get a kick out of is people say, well, if the ice melts, the ocean's going to rise. Really? Yeah. They don't understand displacement. If you take a glass and you put an ice cube in it, fill it up with ice cubes, fill it up with water, then the ice melts, how much water runs out? None.
11%.
No, none. The ice displaces the same amount as the water. You're not,
ice is 11% larger than water, volumetric measurement.
Right.
Now, a lot of the ice is above. A lot of the ice is above water, so the actual rise will be the combination of what's above and what's below.
Put the ice in there and let it melt. It won't overflow.
Okay, next time, I'll tell you what, when I go get my coffee in a little while, I'm going to fill up a glass with ice and water so that it's lipping full of both. And we'll find out before the show's over.
Well, I got to go in a few minutes. It's past my bedtime. I was thinking about starting the show, but...
Did you see my text? I thought I was going to be later than this, but I made it on all right. I texted you a little while ago, said I was running late.
Yeah, well... you know, I just don't want to start it and then say, well, I got to go because I got to go.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to starting it with the other software now. That looked great the other night. But maybe by Friday, you think we can get that going? I'll work on whatever I have to on my end if you're ready for it coming up Friday.
Friday, let's see. Yeah, I don't work on Saturday, so yeah, I could stay awake. Yeah, we probably can do it at least on Friday and give it a try.
Yeah, we can start early that way. If we see it looks like it's going to be a fail, then we can still have time to switch over to this. Let's say we start 8:30 Friday night instead of 9:30 Eastern time.
That's fine.
Okay. We'll remind everybody of that throughout the show too. And
it's not like I have a nightlife here.
Yeah. But man, me and Sparky tested some new software the other night, and it is 10 times better than this. It's like we're all sitting in the same room, and when we talk, we don't squash each other's feed. And you can see everybody's face at the same time, and it's got a smaller window for each person's face, but the video is so much clearer and the audio is so much clearer, and it doesn't have all that cutting out. And you know, it's a lot better for us in here than it is for the YouTube viewers, because we step on each other every time we make any noise, and whatever somebody else is saying gets cut off, and even if it's unintentional noise. And stuff like Jamie's doing in the background, we don't have to mute our mics if we have to do something any louder than sanding. It just doesn't sound, it's not as intrusive. Background noises are suppressed a whole lot more. And
I'm going to make Dane a member of that so he can run the show from the West Coast.
That's a good idea. Well, he's in Las Vegas, but that's a lot western than me. Okay, getting messages on my phone. All my family's reporting in. I got Florida people too, and so everybody seems okay right now. Oh, Ken Colbert's looking at us. Hey, Ken, how you doing over there on YouTube? He's not in here with us yet, but anyway,
I figured out how to get the chat to pop out in that window too.
Oh, good.
Um,
Or that's you mean the YouTubers chat?
well,
The people that don't join us but watch us on YouTube and like to chat.
when we're in the other software, and I'm going to broadcast this with OBS, I can pop the chat out, and you have to look at the chat on our side, but it will broadcast to the YouTube side as well.
Great.
So,
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be a it's going to be a real trip. I mean, like I said, you know, it's hard to, as you know now, it's hard to be the writer, producer, cameraman, logistics worker, star of the show. It's very hard to do everything.
And spam moderator. I've learned to keep my control room open over on the right all the time. It takes about 2 or 3 clicks to ban somebody immediately, but well,
not on rear end. Just give them the old karate boot.
give them that karate chop. Yeah, that man. Oh, I wanted to ask you, well, I asked you in the PM, but when I signed out the other night, did I cut all of y'all off too?
No.
Okay, good. I hit that big red X at the bottom, and it looked like I'd blown everybody off, but I was hoping y'all were still out there on there. We got 6 viewers from outside of the video now. Welcome all 6 of you mystery viewers. Ken Colbert says he's on Wi-Fi only tonight. It sucks. So that's all right, Ken. We understand.
The nice thing about a peer in is Dane, you know, we're old guys. Dane is a millennial guy. And a peer in is an app that you just click on your phone and you're right there. There's not going to be any of this nonsense with signing in like YouTube.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because you gotta set, if you want to be in this video, you got to be a member of Google, and you got to open the apps and get the app set up with your camera and all that crap. So that'll help. They don't have to do quite as much stuff to get ready to join us.
Just click on the link and go.
Yep.
But I think I'm going to make a few. I looked at the appearance software pretty well. It's easy for me to make them a member so they can start a video chat and talk back and forth on Stunthangar, but they just won't be able to record it. You got to have you have permission to upload to my YouTube channel. Not everybody does.
Right.
But I'm thinking about giving everybody in Stunthangar, that wants to be a member of that appearance. So instead of the chat room, like we used to have where you type, they can just talk back and forth.
Yeah.
But it just won't record.
Yeah. Well, what about inviting people? I know I can post in the same thread in Stunthangar, but am I still going to be able to post a link on YouTube for them to see other than their notification in case they're not subscribed?
Yeah, that appear in link. You see, if you go to appear in and you click invite, it'll click on copy that link and then paste it in Stunthangar. It's kind of a strange looking link. Appear.in dash stunt hyphen hanger question mark and then that number. Well, that's the number to get into our room.
Okay.
And they don't have to be a member to get in. They just they just need a camera.
Yeah. Well, I was just worried about people that are not members of Stunthangar or for some reason still can't find the at the bench thread. And that way, when we do the Google Hangouts, I post it on the chat box on YouTube, and everybody that searches for it can find it there.
You can post that appear in link on YouTube.
Okay, but we'll see the same. Okay, that's what I want to know.
We'll test it all Friday. Yeah. The only thing that I don't like about it is that appear in it will be live, real time. I mean, there's no delay. When I'm broadcasting via OBS software, there's probably a 15-second delay before it comes in to appear and goes into the software and then broadcasts back over to YouTube. So if they have a question, it's going to be like a 15-second delay or so.
Okay. I'll keep reminding them of that until they get used to it. Just like this, everybody had to get used to how to participate in this and hand off to the next person that wants to talk. And luckily, that part will be cleared up with the peer.
Yeah, but I like that program. That was much better.
I guess it's running off of servers in India, a peer.in. So that's a peer.india.
Oh, God. It's, damn.
But it's good. I mean, Saturday night when we were on here, it was clear as a bell, just like we were all sitting in the same room. And also, I believe I'll be able to take my tablet out and use it from the workshop. It shouldn't be any problem. If I can, it depends on what I have to do on YouTube. If I have to do anything over there, it will be a problem because I can't get to that stuff with the tablet about the live streaming and all that.
Okay, once I show, I mean, I'm not gonna show you how to do OBS on Saturday, but once you learn how to do OBS, what you're gonna do is you're going to open up a peer in, start the chat, then you're gonna open up YouTube on your computer there where you're sitting.
Yep.
And it's going to broadcast. You're going to open up an OBS. It's going to broadcast to YouTube, but you can take your tablet as long as you have Wi-Fi out in your garage, and it'll be, you know, what OBS does is it captures your screen on your computer. So you're going to be broadcasting to your computer, and your computer is going to be sending it via to the internet.
I see. Okay.
So you'll have to have that open plus your tablet.
We'll have to see how well my Wi-Fi handles that. But I've watched one of these when I was not the moderator before with Seamless and Good Picture, so it might work. I might have to invest in a booster.
Yeah.
I was looking at some pretty good boosters on Google today, and looks like you can get them for $100, maybe something like that. I'm not sure.
With wires wrapped around it.
If I had an antenna on my router, I would use the aluminum foil trick that somebody showed. I don't know if that thread was on Stunthangar or where I saw that recently. Somebody showed us how to boost our Wi-Fi signals, but one of those stubby antennas on top of your router. And I got one of those stupid Time Warner Spectrum routers that's the modem and router all in one box. And it doesn't have an antenna on it. It's internal, I guess.
Get yourself a 4-foot-long neon fluorescent tube. And you solder a wire on one post on the end, and you wrap it around it.
Yeah.
And then solder it onto the opposite one on the other end. And then set it down by the
and just
router.
in the vicinity of the router. Okay. I can try that. My wife will love the looks of that in the den too.
That also jams radar.
Okay. I'm glad to know that because I live so near Fort Jackson. I got black helicopters flying over the house all day long.
If you do what I just told you and set it on your dashboard drive and somebody shoots you with a radar beam, it absorbs the radar.
Okay. I've actually slowed my driving down in my older age, but God, I've run some horrid speeds down the highway before and been lucky not to get caught too many times, but I have spent a couple of nights in jail over it. But Gerald Wimmer's with us. Hey, and Gerald, you just hit us with another super chat. I appreciate that, buddy. You are a good member. I appreciate your participation and support.
I didn't see that. I mean, it should. I guess maybe it doesn't come over here. I don't know.
It's on the YouTube chat box.
Trying to keep track of what you got going on.
Yeah. But yeah, Gerald widening our video feed the other night. Guess he had a busy day on Friday. But anyway, I'm curious to see what kind of reports of the storm we get from central USA. But I think we've got more here on the East Coast, plus Central and West Coast, than we do just in the Central South.
Yes, I see Sparky did not shave. Not true. I did so.
Yeah. I was wondering if that whole thing was going to be gone and you might have shaved your head too. Oh. Daddy got him a shaver and went to the mirror and cranked up that shaver and started trimming around and just couldn't knock the big part off. Couldn't bring himself to do it.
Probably look like the Johnson & Johnson baby if he shaves that off.
An old baby. That's what you get. That's what you get when you hear about a 70-year-old woman that had a baby. Due to her advanced age, she had an adult. And,
well, the girls might like it better if I shaved, but you know what? Even if I caught one, I wouldn't know what to do with it anymore.
or if one caught you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like me. That's probably not likely anymore. I always dreamed of it, but I can't say it happened too many times or enough.
We're invisible now.
Yeah. Well, control line just doesn't have the sex appeal it did back in '63.
And what you working at there, Jamie?
Man, you're gonna laugh at this. Saturday when we was at the field, one of the guys in the club brought a little SIG shoestring with a Gilbert 11 on it.
Like a half-A shoestring?
Yeah. Gerald says to Rusty and me and James, I have no power here in New Zealand. We'll try the cell phone live. Storm here too. I guess they got a storm in New Zealand.
I guess so. They call hurricanes typhoons in that part of the ocean, I think. No, where is
anything on the East Coast is a hurricane. Anything on the West Coast, in the west of the like Pacific is
but down under the equator, which ocean is New Zealand in?
Yeah, it's like by the South Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not down as far as what they call the Southern Ocean now. That's a new ocean.
It's on the Atlantic side, I believe. Let me see here.
I got a globe behind me, but too lazy to walk over there and get it.
But a guy in the club brought a little tiny shoestring and it had a Gilbert 11 on it. And
New Zealand is below Australia in the I guess it is the South Pacific.
Yeah, Australia is actually in the Indian Ocean.
Well, they got the South Pacific listed here on Google Maps, but it's below Australia. It's actually the Tarman Sea. Indian Ocean, the Coral Sea, the Tarman Sea, and there's a line here. I don't know what that line is. South Pacific, so I don't know.
Let's see here.
Look below Australia. Australia's way down south of the equator.
Yeah. Oh, okay. New Zealand is east of Australia. For some reason, I had west in my mind. So, yeah, it is damn near in what they call the Southern Ocean now, at least the southern part of it. And Tasman Sea. And that's on the east coast of Australia, too. Very interesting. And Australia has the Coral Sea in the north, the Tasman Sea in the south. New Zealand has the Tasman Sea along its complete western coast, and the eastern coast is Some see.
Gerald's wife says my beard looks good on me. It suits me. And he also says he's in the South Pacific.
Okay. Yeah. We'll call it. Yeah, that's right. South Pacific on the east and Tasman Sea on the left, according to my globe. Now, this globe is about 30 years old, so they could have changed some names by now. I wish I hadn't gotten the sepia colored globe. I like the blue ones better. They're easier to read. But for some reason, when I asked Holly to give that to me for my birthday or Christmas, I told her I wanted one of the sepia colored globes. And Minnesota Mike says New Zealand is where the world's fastest Indian, Burt Munro. What is he fast at, Mike?
On the Bonneville Salt Flats. Rutger Howard? No. What the hell is that guy's name? Silence of the Lambs. They did a movie on him.
So you got anything to talk about that fuselage in front of you, Sparky?
Well, not really. I went to the store and I bought a piece of shelf. I'm waiting for a guy here in Dayton to get me a 3/8 piece of glass to put on top of it, so I can start working on it. I can see that I'm going to crap up this place pretty quick.
Jamie's got a fuselage in his hand too.
Yeah.
What were you saying about did you finish talking about the little baby shoestring?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
The buddy, he had a Gilbert 11 on it.
Oh, a Gilbert. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, man, I got the exact same engine, but let's crank it up. So we hooked on some 52-foot lines and managed to get that Gilbert 11. And man, that thing sounds cool.
Really? Does a Gilbert have a metal crankcase, or it's not like the Tester's pipe bombs, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a decent engine.
I mean, it ain't got like no strong, crazy pull, which I mean, it's a small engine.
Hey, if it's got dual exhaust, it's got to be cool.
But I mean, I flew it first before he did. And I just had a ball with it. I mean, and so I went ahead. I felt so inspired. I went and buy a SIG Buster.
Hey guys, you guys have a good night. I'm going to head off to bed. It's
okay, Sparky, take it easy, man.
All right, Sparkster.
See ya.
See ya. Tight lines and fair winds too. There we go.
But yeah, it's just like, man, I gotta get something to race him with it, just to have some fun. I told him we ought to do some racing combat, no maneuvers, just straight level flight.
Yeah.
Combat with him. And I love the looks of it.
You can just follow the other one around and nip his tail off.
Uh-huh. I mean, I like the looks of the shoestring over the Buster. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, I think like hell. He got the Gilbert 11. I got one.
The Buster's got a nose cowl kind of like the shoestring, doesn't it? Or was that just one I saw that somebody had done that to?
I think somebody just added that because it don't show it on the drawings.
That was somebody here that was showing that.
The built-up Buster, the one with the built-up wing, I think has one. In which we did. There was one of those at the field as well. Buddy of mine, he brought one with a Fox 35.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, how's it going?
We're good. Been storm trooping all day here in South Carolina, but nothing like they did down in Florida.
Is it raining pretty good?
It still is. Yeah, I can hear it out the window. It's gotten to where now it comes in bursts, but it was steady all day with a steady moderate wind, 25 to 35 with gusts, frequent gusts into the 40s, 45 maybe. And everything in the yard was secured pretty well. So I thought the hammock was going to flip over one time, and it didn't. But it was so heavy, I figured there's no way that the wind was going to move it. But it came close. But I took everything else out of the yard, tables, chairs, bird feeders, wind chimes, all that crap, and stowed them in my outbuilding. So we're all good, I think. Lots and lots of limbs, but I think it's mostly just widowmakers that the wind kind of cleaned out of the trees. I hadn't really inspected it yet, but we got maple and pecans, and those things drop a lot of limbs anyway, even on a good day.
Yeah. What are you working on, Jamie?
Sig Buster.
Oh, okay.
little fun plane.
What's the hockey jersey behind you, Frank? Minnesota Mike wants to know.
That's
That's
shit. Penguins.
Mario Lemieux's authentic Penguins jersey.
Penguins. Okay.
Yeah, I've had that for years, since 1993.
Ron Hass is in Tampa. No damage and never lost power. Really? Man, we thought Tampa and Tampa Bay was just gonna rush up, fill up with water. But I think it actually drained first. Is that right, Ron? Did the rivers near the ocean drain out into the bay and go real low before the surge came? Curious to know about that, because they were talking about it on the Weather Channel, and they showed a picture of what they thought it would look like, and maybe it's happened before, but that was interesting. But I thought Tampa was going to be right in the jaws of the beast. So
Yeah, you think.
yeah.
Yeah, my wife's brother lives down there near Orlando, and they're okay too.
Good. I heard that there was no significant loss of life in the United States so far. By significant, I mean, it's hard to say. If somebody in your family is pretty significant, but still, the Caribbean, I think about 20 something people have been confirmed to have lost their lives. How you doing tonight, Gerald?
Right, okay. Just a bit of a storm here, but nothing like you've got there in the States.
No typhoons, is that what you call them in your part of the world? You call them hurricanes?
Oh, they call it hurricane's gone out, so they call it a typhoon now. Just a local storm, and we onto the main road outside our place, and today we've just lost the power again for a short while till my battery goes flat. So the boys will come home, and I'll have to have the wood stove running for them ready, so that they can have a drink and some afternoon tea. Well, how are things going for you, Rusty?
Oh, they're going pretty good. I'm kind of tired because it's been a long day. I had to, keep an eye on things as the storm was raging outside, and it must be a slow-moving storm because it came this morning and it stayed all day long, and it's still in bursts. It's still coming in and out right now. I got one of my windows open. It's a perfect temperature, and it was sure nice to air the house out. Open the windows, and cool air was just rushing in and cleaning it out, especially with me in here smoking cigarettes and stuff. Let's see. Ron has said he spent a week in New Zealand back in 1988 on honeymoon. Oh, what a cool place to go. Ron's from Florida.
Man,
Where are you seeing that chat?
That's on the YouTube channel where this video runs simultaneous to our live chat. If
okay.
you don't want to join, you can watch it from over there. If you just go to YouTube, Sparky's Stunthangar channel, and that's where you go to watch reruns too.
Yeah. Okay, I was wondering because I was looking at the group chat and I didn't see that. That must be on the Google Hangout.
And Ballard just joined the YouTubers too. Hi, John. Hi, Jim. Glad to have you. What part of the country are you in, Jim? He'll answer us in a minute on that. He's let's see. Minnesota Mike says we've got a freak storm here at Gully Washer. We didn't get rain here till around Christmas. Oh, mercy. So y'all have been in sort of a drought, I guess. A hurricane might be spawning freak storms off, way outside of its actual footprint. I don't know.
I don't know, but it certainly feels damn good over here for once. Last week and a half, it's been like in the low 80s, and at night, like in the low 60s.
That's perfect weather, yeah. You can sleep with the windows open, provided you can do that in your neighborhood. But
Oh, in my
Mexico,
neighborhood, probably not. Not within Mexico.
let's see, Jim Ballard is south of Sweetwater, Texas. Okay. So they hadn't got much influence from this one yet, but they probably did from the one a couple of weeks ago. Harvey? That was Harvey, wasn't it? I can't remember now. When one's gone, I forget its name. But I was looking at a global weather map today, and it looked like there's something that looks like a hurricane to me right behind Irma. I don't know what direction it's moving, but I hope it's moving away.
Yeah, me too.
You don't need a double sucker punch. Jacksonville flooded real bad. The southern parts of Florida didn't flood near as bad as they feared. I don't know what the tides were, but now I got family. My best and favorite cousins are in Jacksonville. Well, no offense to my cousins in North Carolina, but they got flooded pretty bad, but not a lot of devastation as far as buildings getting ripped up and that sort of thing. So if one doesn't get you, the other one will. But they're so deep they can't even get the big tire rescue trucks, military trucks in, and they got to get the boats in and the rescue teams in. They got to be able to drive those trucks through pretty deep water, but it's too deep right now. Hopefully it'll be receded. I don't know what the moon phase is right now either. That'll make the tides higher.
Full last week. Oh.
Okay, so it's waning now. So maybe that'll give them a little break. When it's a full moon, you sure get high tides. You don't want a hurricane coming in with a full moon.
All I know is that I hope the temperature stay down for at least one more weekend.
You gonna do any custom reshaping on that Buster, or are you just gonna leave the same profile?
Oh, I'm just keeping the same profile.
What's the wingspan on that thing?
Oh, man.
30, 35?
24 inches.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Nice and tiny.
I'm going to go get me a cup of coffee, and when I do it, I'm going to do Sparky's experiment. And Philip, I think Jamie was the only one here when we were talking about that. We were discussing how much water ice displaces when it melts. And so I'm going to go fill a glass of water up with ice all the way to the brim with both and see how much of it runs out of the glass as the ice melts. And I'm going to come back with a cup of coffee. So y'all have fun while I'm gone. I'll be right back. It won't take me but about like 3 minutes maybe.
It'll blow your mind how much is going to come out.
I told him it was going to be more than 11%.
So he's going to fill up a glass of ice with water, and it's going to overflow?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's kind of hard to believe, but I can't wait to see that.
James, what's the Buster for? Is it for team race, or what event do you use the Buster in?
Just to play around. There's a guy in the club. He had one of them little tiny shoestrings that goes along with this with a Gilbert 11, and it was just I had fun flying it. I only flew it once, but it was just cool. I guess because it was just something new and different, other than flying Ringmaster all the time. And I just had a ball with it. I'm like, man, I'm going to get me a Buster or another shoestring or whatever. If we're going to race or we're going to combat, we're going to do something with it.
The little Gilberts are quite good value. They're a lot of fun. I've got one of the Gilbert 11s on a little trainer, and the boys enjoy flying. It'd be a good thing to race them as well.
I mean, our field is grass, so I mean, taking off these little things, it was pretty interesting doing it. but it's just fun.
Frank, what do you fly?
I mainly fly radio controlled, but I've been trying to dabble with control line, but I can't get anything finished. I got about 3 or 4 planes started, but yeah, mainly radio controlled.
Well, it's nice to mix and mingle and try different things.
Yeah,
I used to do a lot.
I do a lot of free flight,
Did a lot
rubber
of
band power too.
control in the past, but I just
You need to finish that little flight streak.
I know. All I gotta do is paint it.
All right, do this.
Fly it.
it's a lot of fun, but you need the right weather, don't
What I
you?
got here.
Yeah.
Inside of this measuring cup is just a perfectly cylindrical with no taper cup, and I've got ice filled up over the top. So this is an iceberg. The glass is full of water, almost to the brim. I didn't want to spill it on the way over here, but it's 1/8 of an inch under the brim. So we're going to sit that down, and after all this ice melts, if we're still on, then we'll see how much that water this water gets pushed out of there.
That'll be interesting.
I guess I should have left it. I could have left it on the stove, warm stove top. I got one cube that's about to fall off. I don't want any to fall. Well, it's stuck now. Okay, coffee time. Be right back again.
I'm gonna get my junior flight streak to show you.
I got one right behind me now.
Oh, you got a junior flight streak now?
Yeah, I bought it from the hobby shop. It's old.
Okay.
It's like 20 plus years old.
Okay. Be right back.
I don't think.
I noticed.
Go ahead.
I thought that the Apocalypse was on special that you talked about at Hobby King. That would probably be a good model for a combined build. Oh, that looks nice.
It just needs painted. I got it primed and sanded. It's pretty straight too.
You can use a 15 on it.
Yeah, an Enya 15.
Oh, nice motor.
Yeah, I just don't like the way the tank is so close to the engine and the wing, the leading edge of the wing. I might have to like carve out some of the leading edge of the wing to make it fit nice, you know? It's just really tight.
Yeah, that's what I had to do with my Ringmaster. Well, I didn't have to do it because I didn't exactly research the tanks like I was, a smart person would have been. So I put it's a Uniflow tank, a 3-ounce Uniflow, but it's like 4 inches long or whatever. And I could have got a regular wedge Uniflow that would have fit perfect without notching out the leading edge. But it's okay because it looks kind of cool.
Okay. Hey,
Flight streak always
what's that?
problem with space. Peacemakers and flight streaks normally have that problem with tank space, and I've seen people put the tank on the inboard, but that's a bit tricky trying to tune.
Yeah.
Going rich, the faster you go, the richer you get with an inboard tank.
Yeah, I want to get this finished. I need to have something to fly. I was going to ask you, Jamie, that paint I used to paint that flight box, could I use that on this thing?
What paint you use? Rust-Oleum?
No, I use Duplicolor engine paint.
I don't see why not. I mean, you could be putting a clear coat on it anyway, so at least I would imagine you would be doing it.
Right.
I figured that engine paint. I figured that engine paint would be semi-fuel proof. I mean, it's in an engine compartment, you know.
Yeah.
Is that lacquer? Is it lacquer or enamel?
Let me look.
I use the Duplicolor Perfect Match for car body.
Here's my flight box.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that looks good.
I just finished it.
Yeah, I don't make a shit, throw it away.
I always go, ew, when somebody says they're going to paint green, but then it turns out looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it's called grabber green.
You can't hate on green flight boxes, okay? That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Let me get that paint and I'll show you.
I'm gonna mute myself because I'm about to do some drilling.
All right. I hope Friday night the new software works. We'll be so much cleaner pictures and audio. There it is. Let me lock on.
It's engine enamel with ceramic.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be pretty field proof.
Yeah,
Wouldn't hurt to put a little urethane over it for good luck, but urethane will proof anything.
So I might get some of this duplicolor for, you know, in the colors I want to paint my flight streak. I'm not going to paint my flight streak green, but
I highly recommend. Well, I highly recommend the automotive body perfect match duplicolor is what it's called, and
okay.
It's not they've got acrylic enamel and acrylic lacquer. The acrylic enamel would be much more fuel proof than the lacquer, but the lacquer is a lot lighter, and if you cover it with dope and maybe even in the front some clear urethane, then you won't have any problem with fuel either.
Oh, okay. Yeah, something to think about.
I like this stuff because it's got an adjustable nozzle, and rather than that circle with the hole in the middle like most rattle can spray, the duplicolor perfect match has a knife edge triangular pattern that it sprays, and you can rotate the nozzle sideways or right up and down so that you can hold the can at different angles and get a perfect sweep. And if you want to paint something real narrow and miss everything under and over it, you can turn the spray pattern sideways so it's a sideways knife edge, easier to aim. You use less.
Okay. That's for bodywork paint?
Yeah, you'll find it at the automotive store in the paint section.
Okay.
Duplicolor, I thought Duplicolor made DC 540, and that's what the DC stood for, but I think I'm mistaken, but it's compatible with Duplicolor paints.
Yeah, they did. Duplicolor does make that DC 540, but it's a Napa brand.
Right.
It's a Napa product.
I had heard somebody claiming it was some other brand that sold it to Napa, but I'm pretty sure that's what the DC stands for.
Yeah, I think I
doesn't make a exact same thing with their own label on it, as far as I can tell. I bought some of their white. I didn't see any gray, but the white sucks. It's not even, it calls it sandable, but man, you better have some elbow grease ready if you think you're going to sand that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie.
Yo.
That can you just held up, does it say Duplicolor on the back side of it?
Let's see.
Should be by the barcode.
Yeah, just the DC 540 gray primer.
Oh, it doesn't say Duplicolor on it?
Yeah, applied for Napa distribution centers, diversified brands. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, well, it is compatible with the Duplicolor paints, though, so that's good. It's so easy. Man, I just take an air conditioner filter and put my box fan on a old bottle crate and put the filter on top of that and sand over that, and it catches all of the dust that falls off so it doesn't get all over the floor.
Yeah. You know, when I painted my flight box in my bedroom up here, I had a fan. I had one window open and the fan blowing out, right? And I set up some plastic all around the room so I didn't get any overspray, but that fan sucked all that paint or all the overspray out the window. And when I took the fan down, I had a grid on my screen. I forgot to take the screen out. We had a green grid on there.
Green now. That's funny.
It wiped off, though. It's just powder.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get the itch to build again. I've been little by little cleaning my shop up, getting everything back where it belongs. All of my little parts trays with stuff from both the twister and the P40 are in it, and even a few nobler parts. So I still got to get some of that stuff put back where it belongs, but clean everything up so I'll be able to sit there and work and reach out and pick up the tools and the parts I need. So it's looking pretty good. I'm glad I don't have to vacuum the damn thing. The storm didn't rain hard enough to make it fill up. I'm pretty sure. I hadn't actually looked, but I can look at the backyard and tell if the shop's flooded. And Marcus Correa, Marcus Correa, Correa, Control Line Brazil. All right, welcome, Marcos. Appreciate you dropping in on us. Thanks a lot. We like to have new members come in. So what's your line of control line? Do you do stunt or combat or speed or what else? What's your favorite part of control line, Marcos?
I done speed in high school.
I got the speed line Jones, the control line Jones.
I beeline some speed and I was in total control.
Have y'all ever looked up just to see what anybody else besides this group does with Google Hangouts? Have you ever searched for Google Hangouts on YouTube? I found no one that could assemble a group and have a conversation so far.
Yeah, no.
I found a girl that said that her show was going to be about talking. Let's talk about joy. Okay. So assuming joy is a thing and not a person, I gave her a minute, and I didn't have her live. I just had a rerun on YouTube, and I'd click a half hour ahead, a half hour ahead, a half hour ahead. 3 hours through the thing, I never heard her talking about anything except for what was wrong or what she didn't like about this or what she didn't like about that, or and she got one person who would communicate with her via YouTube text, but nobody actually came on camera. And like, okay, well, that was joyful. And I found another guy proclaimed to be talking about fishing. He had a giant aquarium behind him, and he just talked. And but about half the time he'd sit for 15 minutes at a time without saying a word. So I hadn't found anybody. I know they've got them. Somebody else has got to be doing what we do, but I hadn't been able to find anything like this one.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen any radio controlled hangouts.
Rusty. You know what's in this box?
Show me the
something brand new.
Something brand new.
Oh, 46 LA.
Virgin 46 LA.
Oh, it's not even blue.
Got a big gash on the head there. What happened?
Big gash on the head. Man,
a big scratch.
Gash on the head. Even got the Venturi already in it. That stupid ass remote needle valve.
You don't even need to rake that in. Just bolt her up and go.
That's
that might get improved performance over the first few weeks you fly it, but still, yeah, don't bother to put it on a test stand. Just put it on the plane.
I tell you what, as soon as that Ringmaster bites the dust, I'm never looking back. Oh man,
that thing will never die.
No, man, no.
Well, somebody asked me.
It almost died again Saturday.
Somebody asked me if my LAs had metal or plastic back plates the other night. The two that I've got to combine, they do have plastic back plates.
Oh, do they?
One's got a bracket for a needle valve, but neither one has. Both of them have RC carburetors. So I might have to get Venturis for them. You know if an FP Venturi will fit?
It should, yeah.
Okay. Yep. I got a couple of engines I can borrow one from.
And like I said, if needed, just go to Tower Hobbies. They still sell all the parts for it.
Tower does?
Okay. Omni Hobbies has it as well. You've got it on eBay too. And I think Shutterman on eBay has them as well.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Shutterman's got a great reputation.
That's where I get all my Enyas from.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Where I get my Enya parts from.
I got like 12 of them now.
I got a lot of Venturis. I just need needle valve assemblies.
Got a lot of planes to build around those Enyas.
I know.
I ain't got a lot. I'm kind of torn on something though. to put that
Weren't
Gear
they-
11 in this, or to put in an Enya 09.
And you know, that would be nice on that thing.
Oh man, I bet it would. I bet it would howl a good little bit.
Frank, weren't you working on a flight streak the first few times you came in here with us?
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I just gotta paint it.
Yeah, okay. Let me lock on that for a second. That's a junior or a full? That's a junior, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a junior.
So is that's about a 09 to 15 size. Is
I'm gonna
that
put
right?
a 15 on it.
Okay. Hey, Charles.
Better hold on, but
Everybody.
Hey, how you doing, Charles?
We're getting a good group tonight. I was afraid we weren't going to, but I forget the country's a hell of a lot bigger than that storm. So
I want to see a line of people on the bottom of my laptop screen. I want to see it all the way across.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
could have been here Friday night.
I watched it. I watched it on rerun.
9 are all that's allowed, but
Oh, really?
that might fill it up if see, yeah, there's room, but with this new software that we're going to try and start up on Friday, I believe we can have 12
Yeah.
plus
Man,
the YouTubers. Still a lot of things we got to figure out, so we're going to crank up at 8:30 and try it, and if it doesn't work, then we'll abandon that and come back to the Google Hangouts at the regular time, 9:30. Actually, I call it 9:30, but I always do get started about 9:40.
hey, what size prop for an 09?
8 or so, I guess.
8.4 would be all right.
Sounds that would be my first guess, but I don't know. I've never flown an 09 before.
Let's say 7
I've never flown a junior before.
Ooh, boy, the bad thing is with this, the prop shaft on the end is smaller than the APC hole on the prop. Oh, I bet an 8.6 would make it zing.
I want to build a junior size plane that is going to look like the Cox Hyper Viper, but it's going to have a flight streak wing profile and moments, all the moments to it will be the same as flight streak, except maybe a little bit longer so I can have more room for a fuel tank than a flight streak.
I have a full-size flight streak wing built. I just need to do the fuselage and the tail.
The junior and the full size wing aren't vastly different from each other. Or am I thinking that maybe it's the half A and the junior wing are not vastly different from each other?
Yeah, because the other flight streak, it's like a foot longer.
Yeah, I think the junior and the half A are close, within a few inches of the same wingspan.
Yeah.
But I figured I can, as much as I like the wingtips on the flight streak, I'd take them off to make them look like that Hyper Viper.
Yeah.
You know what a Hyper Viper looks like?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I got an idea of the one you're talking about. Oh, there goes Gerald. He's going to dig
Yeah,
his
He's got one.
We can always count on him to come up with an
Yeah,
eclectic
he's got one.
plane. All right.
Going digging his treasure chest of goodies.
He's got a lot of planes hanging up there. Here he comes. Oh, neat.
That's exactly the one I was thinking of.
That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it is.
A bit dusty, sorry, but it's been hanging on the wall a few years now.
Is that an electric?
No, it's a little 049,
Oh, okay.
the twin port 049 on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, very cool.
and it's too bad that they didn't put a TD in that thing,
Yeah,
Because- because it would really go. I've seen one do the full pattern. Have you ever flown a pattern with it?
I did like a novice pattern, a beginner pattern, but I didn't try doing the F2B pattern. I had the motor it came with was just too tight, and so I put in a looser motor, an older motor. I just swapped the backplate over, and it would be a lot better if it did have the TD or even a medallion would have worked well in it.
I guess
Does that have the Does that have the lines coming out of the fuselage?
And put a TD cylinder on it, and that would help. And a Killer B backplate.
Okay, so it don't come out the wingtip then.
No, so it's a solid wing.
Yeah.
Solid.
Oh, it's
It's
solid.
a styrofoam wing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's
yeah,
pretty
but
cool.
I like that. I like the profile of the plane, and I'll probably even duplicate the color scheme. That'll be a lot of work. I could do it with Charles's final, yes. But yeah, one of these days I'm gonna build that, and I'm gonna make it a junior size for either a TD09 or a Thunder Tiger 15 I've got.
Oh wow.
Oh, thanks for doing that. Yeah, man, that is so cool. That's just sometimes I see a plane and it just grabs me, and I gotta have it.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that's my problem.
It's got a good long nose. I'm afraid to try to duplicate that set of moments and everything. So I'm just going to do it with a proven airframe and that use the flight streak moments and wing dimensions and all that.
Yeah.
The ratio between the wing and the stab.
I had the ME 109 Super Stunter, and I've still got it, but it's in pieces. And that was a really nice flying plane. Do you remember? Have you seen the Super Stunter? It was like a 30-inch span plane, but with a high core wing.
I've seen them before. I wanted one when I got my first PT-19. It had the like little book inside. It had all the different planes that Cox came out with and whatnot. And I fell in love with that 109. Never could get one though.
Yeah, they're pretty hard to find now. There's one on our local website, a local auction site that everybody's interested in. So I might go trying to win another one. But my original one, I got it when I was about 14, and I flew it to death. And it did fly very well. Later on, I came back when I was a bit older, and I rebuilt it, and it could fly the schedule. It was quite nice. You could take through all the squares.
Are we talking about a balsa kit or what?
The ME-1 Super Stunt was a hollow core and wing, and had a plastic fuselage. So
okay.
It was like a Viper, but it had a bigger wing. It had probably another 30 bigger wing on it.
Okay, that one I didn't know about.
Yeah, there's actually another one.
What did you say, Charles?
I didn't know about that one either. I never heard of that Super Stunt. I never heard of that one.
It was a neat model, but I've got pieces of it. I'll try and dig the pieces out. I can show you some of the pieces. The wing needs to be stuck back. It's a big compared to the Hyper Viper. Try and find it.
Well, Marcos didn't ask me what his favorite part of control line was. Maybe he left us. It's like we got 7 viewers. And Ken Colbert asked me if I ever checked out Faith. Oh yeah, I did see your post, Ken. I've looked at it for about 15 or 20 minutes after you told me I needed to see what you posted over there. I forgot actually what it was now. I'm sorry, but so what you doing today, Charles?
Today is being like a cab driver today, taking my kids back and forth to school and running errands and stuff like that. So
you got nice weather out there, sun and fun.
Oh, beautiful weather.
Great. Yeah, it was storm day over here.
Oh boy.
Sounds like it's slowing down. I'm not hearing it rise up as often as I was when we first started talking. So finally, it's been, so that's a good 13, 14, about 18 hours. Well, call it 15 because it didn't really get to be a respectable storm until about 15 hours ago. But boy, it was slow moving. It lasted a long time.
Oh, look at that.
That
Oh,
was
cool.
the it's quite a large model.
Wow.
For 049, it was a big model. It had hollow core wings. Hold the
Yeah.
wing up.
Wow.
Wing
Interesting. Wow, look at that.
So it's foam
Yeah.
core?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hollow core wing. And one needs a new fuselage, really. I've smashed my nose. But it was a great flying little model. And
Wow.
they did another one called they did a chipmunk, a super chipmunk cops, and that was
Really?
nice flying as well.
Yeah, I got a buddy with
So-
one of those. He flew it at our half A day meeting last year. In fact, that's next week. We're having our half A meeting. So I've got a Norvell and a baby flight streak to fix up. Got a Norvell 061 on it. Man, it flies. That flight streak with the Norvell 061 flies remarkably well.
Oh, Wally's coming.
Hey, Wally. Come on in, Wally.
Probably having
Slow the upload there. Well, we got his avatar blinking now. Hope he can get all of his. One night he couldn't get his camera going the other night. Ken Colbert can't get his dadgum microphone going.
Yeah. I think Wally's got his mic going. I can see it jittering or something. His avatar.
Yeah. Are you talking to us, Wally? I don't see any green lights blinking. Make sure you got your sound on your end turned up.
I just barely got here.
I can hear you now a little bit.
Well, I got to figure out what the deal is with my camera. I have it on. I'm looking at myself, but I can't.
But it's not broadcasting, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
Well, yours is red on my end. Let me click it over here. See if that helps. And the answer is not yet.
Well, there's something I'm missing, and I can't. When I figured out, then I can't remember how I figured it out.
Have you rebooted your computer since the last time?
Yeah.
You know, even as late as Windows XP, you had to reboot once a day, whether it quote unquote needed it or not. But then once I got Windows 7, I got spoiled and used to forget to reboot once in a while because it was so stable. Windows 10 is not even as stable as Windows 7 was.
Well, the thing is it's the computer sees my camera, and like I say, I'm seeing myself. Problem is I can't figure out.
What about open the Google Hangouts app on the Google homepage and see if there's something about your camera in there that might be disabled.
Oh, let's see. I think that's how I did it last time. I'm trying to remember how I did that.
You know how to find Google Hangouts?
Yeah.
Google was his name. Oh,
It's that looks like a stack of boxes up in the top right of the Google search window. And then it's full of apps. Hangouts is usually near the bottom unless you drag it up close to the top.
Recent apps. Discover more about it.
I don't even remember what I had to do when I first got in on this, but I know I had to go in there into Google Hangouts and enable my mic and camera.
Control room.
I tell you what, Dremel tool is like one of the best things ever invented.
Yeah, mine is failing too. It'll go up to full speed and then immediately slow down, and it's loud, so I'm guessing the bearings are shot, or brushes maybe.
You can buy brushes for them.
This thing is real old. It's like a first generation Dremel, and so yeah, maybe I hate to pull it apart. sometimes those things can be a pain to put back together. Let's see
You
that.
remember when Craftsman made like a rotary tool?
Yeah.
Yeah, $25 at Walmart. Dremel with rechargeable battery.
Wow.
Okay.
What's the
25 bucks.
RPM range on that thing?
And it's
What's the RPM range on it?
Eh,
Good enough?
man, who knows? I don't know. I can't tell. It's all in Spanish.
you know what I use
28
my Dremel
volts,
for that I would
13
like.
per minute.
One thing I use my Dremel for that I would rather have another tool for is cutting, using the cutoff wheel to cut off wires and stuff. But I was in Bob Zambelli's shop and he had a little small machine that sat on the tabletop with a cutoff wheel on it, and it was like a
chop
table
saw.
saw. You just pull the wheel down over what you want to cut. Boom! It's so much easier than holding a Dremel and clamping the wire in a vise and all that.
I just hold it in my hand and just.
He says you can get them at Harbor Freight pretty cheap too, so I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, check out Harbor Freight.
They that'd be something. I always buy myself a Christmas present, so that's what maybe I'll put on my list. I think I've said that about 10 other things and hadn't written any of them down, so I don't know.
You know, I sent my Dremel stuff into Dremel to go through it. I forgot how much they charged me for, but they actually reconditioned mine, and I forgot what they charged me to do that.
You have the corded one?
Yeah, I have 2 corded ones.
Yeah, I do too. One corded one.
I just bought a Dremel. It's like a jigsaw, a Dremel jigsaw. I use it. Man, I tell you what, I love that thing.
You
like
know,
a
that's
little-
a nice jigsaw. The Dremel one is, I think that's the best one.
Yeah, and it's small and compact. You can just clamp it to your table.
Yeah. Does that have the attachment where you can attach a wand to it with the Dremel cutoff wheel?
No, this is just let me get it. I'll show you.
All right.
I've got one of those rotary paint strippers that's got the little triangle. I can't make a triangle with my fingers anymore. About that big. And I figured, I was in Walmart one day, hadn't really looked at the thing closely, but I saw the straight edge saw blades where you just push it in to make a slot or, you know, to cut a board or something. And I figured it would fit on there with some sort of standard attachment. But then when I got home, that little triangle doesn't even come off. It's got nothing, no way to mount that blade. So I'm going to bore a couple of holes in the blade and bore a couple of holes in the triangle and screw the damn thing on.
There you go.
And I'll have a slotting tool. I bought a blade that I can grind down narrow enough to be a good 5/8 inch slotting tool. Okay, I'm going to lock on Frank and see what he's playing with here.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
And it just clamps to your table.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah, I was thinking of the larger one, Frank. I wasn't even thinking about that one.
I've never even seen this one before. I saw it on Amazon. I thought, well, I'm going to get one of those because I needed to cut out parts, you know.
Right.
And it works perfectly.
I bet. Well, Dremel makes good stuff.
Yeah. And it has this. It has this.
A miter gauge. All right.
But this is an extra thing you got to call Dremel to get.
that fits in the slot on the table, right?
Yeah, but you have to call Dremel to get it because it doesn't come with it.
Uh-huh.
So
I don't have anything to cut a straight line with like that.
Yeah, it helps.
What are the two steel rods on either side of the blade?
That's what your angle thing goes in. Your miter goes in. Can you see that?
Okay. Well, yeah. I was looking at the two. I'm pointing at it like you can see where I'm pointing. I was looking at two vertical rods that are in front of
Oh, here?
Yeah.
That's for your foot.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
See, when you put your wood in there and then you just push that down onto the wood.
On it. Yeah.
That is very neat.
I don't like the foot on my scroll saw. It's kind of wonky. It grabs the wood, and then if you run it loose, it gets looser as you saw. And so kind of a pain.
I think that moto saw is only like $85.
Yeah, I have a I think I have a Ryobi scroll saw.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get a regular scroll saw, but this one, it's good enough for what I'm using it for, so I don't need to get another one.
I think I paid $60 or $70 for mine at Harbor Freight, Central or some brand like that.
My favorite tool in my shop is my bandsaw.
Oh, I don't
use it all the time.
My father-in-law had a floor standing bandsaw,
Right.
and I could have had it when he died, but I didn't. I was a little afraid of the thing, actually.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid of table saws. I have a table saw. My table saw makes me a little bit anxious.
Yeah, I had a nice old bandsaw that was my grandfather's, and I sold it at a yard sale before I ever knew I'd get into any of this stuff.
Right, yeah. You know what tools that you can't get anymore is that small Dremel table saw that Sparky has. Yeah, I like those.
That's another one I've been wanting, is a small, tiny tabletop table saw just to cut.
You can buy them. You can buy 4-inch table saws, but they look really cheap.
Yeah, they do. All the reviews say as much, and I think they're a little dangerous too, just because of their cheapness.
Yeah. I mean, with a sled, it makes it safer. You know, just build a sled, and then I think Sparky uses a sled with his too, and it's nice when you have a sled. Frank, your flash streak looks pretty good.
Thank you.
I can see it. It's good.
I just got to paint it.
Very nice.
Got my engine. The engine's already set up for it. I got a little tongue muffler for it. It's an Inya 15.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But I'm thinking about painting it with Duplicolor, automotive paint.
Yeah, I've
just
heard
rattle
that.
can it.
Yeah, that'll work. What color is you going to paint it?
I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking like the regular Flight Streak colors, was it red, white, and blue or red, white, and black?
Yeah, I never could tell for sure. I did mine red, white, and dark blue, and then I later found out that it was black, but I like the blue better.
Yeah, I might do red, white, and blue. I don't know.
Flight Streak. I'll see if I can find a picture of mine.
Okay.
I wonder if I can find a picture of mine. I have a pretty big Flight Streak. It has a Super Tiger 51 in it, and right now it has a Inya 45 in it.
Wow, is your Flight Streak like the full size version, or did you enlarge it?
Enlarged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bought it off a friend of mine, and I'm not sure what the wingspan is. It must be, my guess would be at least 55 inches.
Okay, yeah. I have the regular full-size Flight Streak. It's like 40-some inches, 42 inches or something like that.
I don't know if I can find a picture of my Flight Streak.
My search is not working, dadgummit. What's going on? It won't accept all the input from my typing. I could probably have already found it just by going in Explorer. Try one more time.
Let me see here. Flight Streak. I don't even know if I even labeled it.
I see a little baby.
There, baby. Where's the baby? Get out of here.
Oh, man.
Oh, dang. Look at that. All right.
How many weeks old is that?
2 weeks tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh. I knew it looked brand new.
It's starting picking it up.
Oh, very nice.
I remember when my kids were that little.
Shelby, can you say Inya? You know what incident is?
First word.
Hey, there's hogs and planes.
How's everybody tonight?
Hey, doing well. Hey, Daryl.
As of right now, this is the little Inya 09 I'm going to put in that buster.
Oh,
Isn't
very
that
nice.
cute?
They don't
But I
really
really
have
can't.
strong compression to them. It don't feel like it anyway.
Hey, James, I really can't see Shelby. Can you move over to your right? There we go. A little bit more. A little bit more.
I'm going to sit her on top of the buster.
Oh, there she is. Oh, yeah.
New era
Is he
modeler.
going to be a future controller?
Oh, very nice. She's really cute.
She's pissy.
That's why you have her now.
Yeah. I was hearing her screaming. I went and looked. My mama left her in the swing while she went shower.
Future control liner.
Yeah.
That's what you'll have to save your shoestring for. The new pilot for your shoestring.
There's my flight streak coming up.
Oh man, that's
Oh, I
nice.
just killed it. Let me try that again.
What a baby.
Got her first ringmaster.
Oh, very nice.
That's a teeny one.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Very
I need
nice.
to find some pink Rust-Oleum and I'm good to go. Oh, yeah.
Those things do fly nice. Doesn't seem to matter what size they are.
Yeah, that's the first plane. That's the first half-A plane I ever built that made me feel like I was flying a real, control line plane.
Is that a
And-
Brodak?
Yeah, sure is. And it's the first one that I built while having any knowledge of actually what makes a plane fly straight. That's just Rust-Oleum paint on it. And
Oh,
on
very
the
nice.
wing is
Good.
the wing is all monocoat. Not monocoat trim, but I put white monocoat over the whole wing, and then I just cut out the blue and the compound curves on the tips. I had to cut those into a couple of pieces to get them to lay down right, but it turned out looking pretty good, and I've still got it.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's a TD-051, and it was a screamer. I bought it on eBay for about $32. It was the first engine I ever bought, and you can see the bladder in its little mesh sheath over on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I see that.
That's
Yeah.
on your video, isn't it?
All right, so I'm going to do a screen share. This is what my buddy brought to the field the other day. Whoop. Hold on. All right. Let's see. All right, y'all got me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. This is what we're going to combat with.
Ah, cool.
Oh,
oh, that's interesting.
I got a couple of scientific combat planes about that size, a lot like that. They don't have the ribs on them, though.
These with a 36-inch, 8-inch wide, 1/8 thick balsa sheet, you can build 2 of those with it. And so we figure we're going to get about 5 or 6 each, and we're just going to go to town.
There you go.
Put a couple of medallions on them or something like that.
Oh, I'm going to put Killer Bees and Black Widows.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Killer Bee's a great engine. It's actually, when we do our tack race on Cox Engine Forums every winter, I have tried putting a TD cylinder, the old number 4, and the new type, and on a Killer Bee, and it's no faster than the original Killer Bee cylinder.
I mean, I got a Killer Bee on my little Satan, but I'm going to pull it off, and I'm going to put it on one of them probably.
Yeah. Well, you can take any other back plate out and drill it out, and then put a good dual port cylinder on it, and you got a Killer Bee, or close to it, a Killer Bee clone. And I don't put the diesel cranks in them for the tack race. I put the B cranks in them because they run faster with a B crank than a diesel crank. Because a Killer Bee had a diesel crank.
Oh, did it?
Yes.
What's the story on the Golden Bee?
I don't know. You know, Cox would change things without notice over the years, but it's about the same thing as far as the tank and all as a Black Widow. However, it's got a smaller Venturi because the Black Widow's got a .083, 086, something like that, Venturi, and the porting in the cylinder on a Black Widow is far superior to a Golden Bee. It's got a deep dual bypass on a Black Widow, and the Golden Bees, I think they've just got the early ones just had a single bypass. The later ones could possibly have had a Super Bee dual bypass, but I've taken my calipers and measured the distance across the deepest part from across the cylinder from the two bypass ports, and the Black Widow's bypass ports are deeper than the other Bee bypass ports. And I've never seen that mentioned in any write-up about Killer Bee, but that was my experience with the Black Widow that I measured. Its ports were deeper.
Yeah, I got one of those I just overhauled, and I was wondering, are they a performance engine or compared to
The Golden Bee is not. The Black Widow is.
Black Widow? I know is that's a honker, that little bugger.
Yeah,
But
yeah, those
Golden Bee,
all ass.
how's the Golden Bee stand with like a baby bee?
It's just the same as any other baby bee, unless it's got a Super Bee cylinder.
When have you got there, Charles?
I don't know. I'm hoping Rusty would notice and tell me.
Oh yeah, looks like a baby bee on a Golden Bee.
Let me hang on, I'm locking in on it now, Charles. All right, well, it's got a plastic backplate, so it's a later one, and I can't recite the years. Oh, and it's got a opening.
Pull it back a little bit.
You could look in there and see if it's got a dual port or a single port.
Pull it back from your camera a little bit. It's
bypass.
fuzzy.
Yeah, that's
there
better.
you go.
But yeah, you need to look inside and see if it's got dual ports or single ports. And you can also see if the Venturi and the breather hole are as big around as a Black Widow. And let me see if I can remember. 078 is what I drill out the back of a standard Venturi with, I think. 564. It's what?
Where is the Venturi?
You see the breather hole in the back plate? Turn it around and look at the back plate. Okay, yeah. It's dead center. It's behind. Okay, there's a long tube inside the fuel tank that plugs into that hole.
Okay.
And that's an extremely sensitive flat ring washer that seals those two together. But you need to take a drill bit and hand twist it through the back plate, and then I do it with them separate and hand twist it through the back of the Venturi. And I'm thinking it's a 5/64th, but I'll follow up on that to make sure I'm telling you the right Venturi size.
Okay.
You almost need numbered drill bits for that job, I think.
You should, because 078 or 093 are not the exact size it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be 083, but I usually take an 078 and run it through there and wobble it around a little bit and pull it out.
Huh.
That's my redneck method of reaming my Venturis. But you got to open the Venturi and the hole in the back plate, and you can ditch the screen if you want to, or put it back. Either way.
I'll tell you what, the best running 049 I ever dealt with was a Golden Bee. I got a video on YouTube running a Baby Ringmaster, Pat King's Baby Ringmaster, over 5 minutes with it.
Huh.
Wow, that's pretty efficient.
And I mean, well, it only lasted that one day, though.
Well, the thing about improving the performance is on my Black Widows, I only got 90 seconds of flying time with 35% nitro after, just specking them and polishing the crank and doing all that kind of stuff and getting them to turn about 20 or 21K. But 90 seconds, it runs out of gas before the fun light goes out.
Man, I wish these prop shafts were longer.
Yeah.
Which
Hey
Working
Daryl,
on
I
James
saw
with the
your
big bust.
smoothie where you did the your first overhead eights.
Daryl, you're getting pretty good there, buddy.
Very good.
Thanks.
I put a couple of comments on your video also.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was going to, but didn't
I
have time.
replied
I
to
wanted
it.
to give you some advice on the vertical eights.
I could use all the advice I can get.
Okay, well, do you know you realize it looked to me like when you did your vertical eights that you topped them out at about 60 degrees or so, and you need to be flying that top loop so far back that you lose it out of your vision as it flies behind you a little bit, and then come back around. It has to be that high. I usually fly mine by my head behind my head to make sure I got enough room. It feels
That's
like
what
you're
I,
90 degrees when you're not.
That's what I was doing tonight.
Maybe I was mistaken.
At the top of the outside, right up over my head.
Okay, well then that's good. I was
I
thinking
just
you were
started
going
doing,
short on that.
I was out tonight trying to fix all my screw-ups, like trying to keep my arms straight out, shoulder height. That's one habit I got to get back in.
Yeah, your hand and your posture and all are so important of a part of it. But I guess I was mistaken what I was seeing because I thought you were short topping those vertical.
Oh, I was. In the video, I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was out flying tonight. I recorded 2 of the flights, but I was trying to correct that mistake. Actually ended up behind my head on the vertical 8 night.
I do go behind my head. The judges can't see it if you do a nice job of it. But also on your outside squares, you need to be starting higher up. You were flying an elongated rectangle, and it's a lot less terrifying when you start from higher up.
Yeah, I did that tonight too.
A lot of people climb right before the turn too. That bleeds off some energy before you pull down.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, Rusty, I got the rule book here, and on the vertical 8, the top loop should be the top of the top loop should be straight over your head, 90 degrees.
90 degrees. Same with the clover.
I haven't done the clover yet. That's the only one left.
But the one thing I noticed, Daryl, is that the engine was running a little bit faster on outside maneuvers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And so I suggest that you, if you could lower your tank, lower it about a 16th of an inch. But if you can't lower it, then shim the engine up about a 16th of an inch.
Yeah, Rob glued the lid on the damn.
Looks like Gerald's taking us on a field trip.
Okay.
That's right. The school bus came, so I had to go and meet the school bus. So I'm right now.
Going on a field trip.
So yeah, maybe when the weather's better, we can take you out flying as well when the boys are organised. So say hello, Max. He's running away.
Yeah, that's cool because we could get them to fly since they got daylight while we're on.
Yeah,
hey guys,
cool.
how you guys doing?
Hey guys.
You say hello?
Well, hi. I'm sure Max would like to say hi.
Hey dudes.
You, my showman, and my other plane.
Yeah, you go and grab your phone, or we'll go back inside so we can see the screen. We can't see the screen ourselves outside.
Yeah, no, you can't see anything, and that's why I like digital phone that's still got a viewfinder. Really, if you can find one like that. I mean, a digital, like a phone or a camera, rather. And I had a digital. My first digital camera had a viewfinder.
It's where technology sometimes gets away on itself, and you just can't really get the practicality that you want.
I'll tell you what else is stupid is having touch screens in cars for radio and all that. Because I got to look at my finger when I'm touching a touch screen. You can't do it by feel, and that takes your eyes off the road.
Okay, so you've played this before, and I've making it up.
Oh, that's off. Those planes we're
Oh,
working on.
cool.
Oh, let me lock on you here.
You got some paint on there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You want to
Hold it up a little higher.
And I've finally got this one.
Flames. I love flames. Oh, yeah.
It's
That's cool.
It looks like it's got tiger teeth in the rear.
Yeah. Do you want to go grab your one next? You can show them the one you've been packing.
No.
Well, next time we'll show them your one next.
I can break mine. I don't want to be on the Stunt. Don't worry. I'll bring it out. No!
Oh yeah.
Agreement between the two. We'll have to get going soon anyway, but I'll let Otto show you the other model, and then we'll head off for afternoon tea.
Okay.
We managed to get to fly, even though the weather was really bad. We were flying on last Friday, and I had the boys hand launching the model, so that was a big bonus because they'd never hand launched before. Ground launch is always tricky, but hand launch is a lot harder again, and it's so boggy and wet. They were hand launching. That meant
I never have been able to teach my wife to hand launch. Point it up and out and make sure to help me make sure the lines are tight and then let go. That doesn't seem that hard, but I hadn't been able to do that yet.
My wife's quite good at hand launching. I got her really practiced at it about 20 years ago, hand launching well, and I can always rely on her to get a good hand launch. But the problem is she's not that great at tuning the engines. That's the main thing I need to get her to do is tune for me.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I gotta run. I gotta wake up in the next few hours.
Okay, Jamie.
Right.
Thank
See
you,
you, James.
man.
I catch
We'll
y'all
see you,
later.
All right,
Hey, man.
Oh, let's see how my water's doing here. And it is running over. However, we expected some because I made it like an iceberg. It's still sitting, the ice is still sitting above the glass, but it's floating. I think there's some in the, yeah, there's plenty in the measuring cup right now. In fact, it is almost 12 ounces in the measuring cup. Jeez. I should have tried it with the ice level with the top before I did. That's going to get us guessing, a point of guessing instead of absolute knowing how much it expands. Maybe I'll go pour that off since the ice is getting level. When it gets level, I'll go pour off the measuring cup.
Well, I got a bug out too. She's a short one for me. I got to get up at 4 in the morning.
We'll see you, Daryl.
All right, take it easy, Daryl.
Hey, Daryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed with Daryl's flying the other day.
Looks good, man.
I've got to go because
I had no idea that he had come along that much and was learning the stunts, and it looked like I just don't watch it enough because he's been doing some of it since back in August or maybe earlier. But it hadn't been that long since he could fly consecutive outside loops. We talked about it one night, and I was impressing upon him how you have to ease into them both inside and outside for consecutives, to ease into them as you're going up, and then don't give it full up until you start coming near the bottom, even if you have to give it that much, because he was doing what I call yanking hope loops, which is just pull full up and hope the thing goes around, but it took me a long time to learn that.
Yeah, the problem there is they get to where they're way too tight.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out why my plane wouldn't do a loop, and I'd figure I'd try it lower to the ground so I'd have more. Well, that wasn't the answer. And then I tried more speed. I started pitching up the props and cutting them shorter, and that didn't work. So finally, somebody, Marvin Denny, called me right when I first started flying the shoestring, and I was able to do loops, but they were always the size of, big beach balls. And so Marvin Denny called me on the phone one night. I didn't know who he was. I just knew he was some old guy that must be a good stunter, and he taught me to ease up around it and then increase the input as it goes around the other side. And I never had any trouble after that. And I never knew who Marvin Denny was until he died, and I read about him, and I found his number on my telephone because I hadn't remembered it. And then I said, that's who that guy was. Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Do y'all
you're
know who
constantly
are y'all
changing.
familiar with the name? Y'all know who
I'm
Yeah,
not.
I
I'm
am.
not.
What's up with Jared? All I see is his avatar.
Yeah, he'll be back, I think. But
Okay.
yeah, that's the thing is, when you're doing them loops, and you're constantly changing the pressure on your handle.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to fly it through the loop.
Yeah.
Bob Hunt wrote an article on the maneuvers, and he talked about just trying to maintain the speed as the plane going through the loops. And that kind of gives you a clue of how much control to give it or not, how much input.
Yeah.
Keep it slows down, you give them too much input.
Yeah.
I do some things the way Bob Hunt said too. I unfortunately never finished reading all of his articles about the pattern. I could go through and find them. I don't remember which issues they're in. I know they're every month.
I don't think he actually finished. He started doing things on design. We're talking about the model aviation.
I'm bad about reading those model aviations. I kind of toss them aside and never look at them.
Yeah, well, model aviation is good for just mixing epoxy.
Mixing
At least it's got
epoxy.
color pictures in it.
That's what it's good for, just the mix epoxy.
Yeah, that's what Sparky
There's like
used
pages
for.
of Stunt on there every other month. So I just use the cover to mix epoxy and throw it away.
I got some slick back cardboard that came in some clothes I bought recently, and I cut that up into squares and threw it in my utility drawer.
Yeah, I use that, and I also use those lids, those planters peanuts.
Yeah, you can peel the hard epoxy out of that and reuse them.
Yeah, just bend it back and it peels right off.
That's a clue not to try to glue any of that stuff together with epoxy if you got some reason to be gluing it. I don't know what kind of plastic that is. I don't know much about identifying plastics by look and feel.
So do you know if Terry's all right?
If it was all right?
If Terry Forbes?
I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. They got pretty flooded down there on the coast of Florida in some places, and ripped up in other places. Jacksonville, for instance, didn't lose a lot as many buildings as they did getting flooded, and then on the Gulf Coast, I think they got more damage than they did flooding. So I don't know. I hadn't gotten to watch any news on TV today, so I'm sorely lacking in my knowledge of what really happened. I was paying more attention to what it was doing here. I still hear it out there. It's not going away completely.
Huh.
Temperature dropped. It got down in the 60s today.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay. What you been working on, Frank?
I got my flight box finished that I was working on. I think it was the last time I was on.
Yeah, when you was getting it painted and everything.
Yeah, I got her done.
There you go. Good job. Yeah.
It's a Goldberg Super Coat.
Yeah.
Well, we got the green box Nobler. Now we got the greenback Washburn flight box.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Have I shown you this, Wally? A Flight Street?
No, I haven't seen that. It's coming along really good.
Yeah, I just got to paint it and strap an engine on it and get it done.
What kind of hinges you got back there on the stab?
They're fabric. Fabric hinges.
Yeah, that looks good, man.
Ain't
I don't know how do you paint that? I mean, will it be okay to just spray paint it and it'll still move?
Yep, it'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, and the more you work it, the more it'll work open. The more it'll get flexible and work again.
Yeah, you'll have to work it out, but it'll come loose. And you can take the sharp tip of a bamboo skewer and kind of try to scrape some of that off, or lay a toothpick over the hinge line when you paint it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or a piece of music wire. Yeah, that would be better. Yeah, just take
Okay.
a piece of music wire and lay it over the hinge line when you paint it.
Okay.
Even put a little Vaseline on it, wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, a little Vaseline. What you got in mind for an engine, Frank?
I'm putting an NU15 on it.
Sweet.
Now, what I did, I modified this tail skid.
Yeah.
You know how it normally has that little disc?
Yep.
Yeah.
I bent some piano wire around the edge of that and epoxied it so it looks like one piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Kind of
nice.
make it, it'll make it
Yeah,
last a
that's-
little longer.
Is
Yeah,
it
that's good.
embedded
That'll
good enough
last
that you
long.
could? Is it embedded good enough that you could bore a hole in it and use it for a stooge hook?
Oh, yeah, I could. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. Like drill a hole through the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that.
What's your Gillows kit back there? Is that a B-29?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big airplane.
Yeah, it is, and that's my winter project. I want to finish that and get it out of my house.
I got one.
Friend.
I got a couple of them. I'll have to get going and finish with you in the winter. I got in fact, I've got two of the big Corsairs, and then I've got a couple of the one's the Edge 540, the rubber band job.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that
one-
last time you were.
Yeah, and then the other one's the Lancer. The Lancer is a good flying airplane if you're gonna use it for, the rubber band deal.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. One of the Corsairs I might put an 049 in. I haven't decided for sure.
Do
A guy-
control line?
like
Yeah,
Corsairs.
I might set it up for free flight with a little electric motor too. I haven't decided.
I like Corsairs. I'd like to have one with a big old 4-blade prop on it.
I've got plans downstairs that you can make one control line, but it doesn't have the scale dihedral. But I want to make one with the scale dihedral.
Yeah, me too. It's just
and
not the same
use-
without that.
Yeah, and use control wire like what they use in the radio controls that's flexible to make that gull bend, inside the wing.
That'd be a lot of stress, though.
Well, what I want to do is use that for the outside of you use both of them the same way they use in radio control, but then the inside one I'll use our lead out wire.
Okay.
So the lead out wire can also move inside there. I'll have to try it and see how it works. If it works good enough, I think I'm going to redesign that wing a little bit to get that dihedral up where it belongs, because it just doesn't look right when the dihedral isn't enough. And Brodak makes a kit now that's a Corsair, and they have those lucky boxes that you can put on the flaps to where you can get the flaps going up and down, which would really make that a nice airplane. But still, the dihedral isn't high enough.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to look
I'm
at.
gonna go reset my experiment. I didn't do it right the first time.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Steve.
Not too bad. Wendy's got some videos of how they did that bomber and how Rich Jacobone did his Stuka. And you can put that dihedral in and actually have wires.
Oh, you talking about that B-25?
Oh,
you
yeah.
did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that Stuka, I watched him build part of that. That's a hell of an airplane.
Yeah, he still has it, too.
Did he ever get to where he was flying that?
Yeah, but he said about pulled his arm off. Didn't like it.
Oh, it's too much, huh?
It had a Rojet 90 in it.
Yeah, they put them big 90s in that thing.
He was turning a 15-inch 3-blade prop or something like that. It was crazy.
Good God, that's a lot of prop.
You shouldn't have been rude, man.
I forget what it weighed. I think it weighed close to 90 ounces, that big thing.
Man, that's a big airplane.
Yeah.
looked like a really neat job that they were doing on it, but I didn't pay that a whole lot of attention to it.
Rusty needs to mute Gerald. I can hear his personal stuff on the over the internet.
Oh yeah. You guys, Steve, you been doing any building?
A little bit. I can show you what I try to switch this around, show you what I did today.
Okay. This time I've got the ice only a little over the top to compensate for that it doesn't touch, that it doesn't fill the entire volume inside. So we'll see what happens.
Right on. Hey, Steve, your camera's working really good today. Whatever you did different, it's working good.
I'm on my phone trying to switch this thing around, and I can't tell if I'm switching.
That carbon fiber?
Yeah, there we go. If I can. That wing is done. I got carbon fiber embedded in that foam. This one, I'm working. Got the first put in that. Then it'll be sheeted here.
Can you pull it back a little farther away from the camera?
Let's get a mini break.
Okay, yeah, that gives us a better picture.
How wide is your carbon fiber? Is it just as wide as the thickness of the foam?
No, it is.
Yeah. Carbon fiber rod.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I used some rod. Looks like 1/8 inch.
I got some rod.
It's 0.034 by 0.121.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah, that's almost 1/8
Mute
inch.
Gerald's mic.
What'd you say?
So how did you cut your slot?
Mute
Okay.
Gerald's mic so we don't hear his personal stuff.
Okay, there we go.
You just soldered. Okay.
Yep, I
Oh,
just
okay.
I set that at the same depth.
Yeah.
Put tape on it, and I just thaw it in,
Right
That's
on.
cool.
That's a good idea.
and then I glue it in with foam safe CA.
Okay.
But I end up having to like take the point of it and I kind of channel it out, run it along in there, open that up. The saw is a little bit narrower than.
So you
Or-
and then you fill up your channel with your CA and then
Then push that, yeah, push down it.
okay.
And you can see the one there. You can see I didn't get it all the way pushed in. I had to do just a bit of stain.
Yeah.
The one next to it worked out fine. But
Yeah.
I didn't put enough glue in there to set fast. But the other one, I really pushed the glue into it, and I had it all over my fingers.
So you do that on both wings, top and bottom.
Yeah, yep.
How far out did you figure? How far did you putting that in there? Just
I cut them. They're 40 inches, so I cut them in half at 20. And then I just laid them on there, and that's where they fell out. So that's where I
Okay.
put them up to.
right on.
And it came into the spar that Bob Hunt puts in there. So these are triple cord.
I've got some carbon fiber rod because I bought it by accident thinking I was getting tube, but I don't have any idea what to use it for.
Well, what I did with that, you can buy it in different sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget, the thing doesn't weigh but so many grams. But I didn't want it to go all the way through the cutout. So that's why I didn't go with anything thick
Oh, I see.
cord. So I figured that would just be useless to have it laying there. So, but it worked really good on Samantha's last airplane.
Sweet. So does that get covered with 16th or is it 332?
16th.
16th.
Yeah. Yeah, 16th. And then when it's done, it looks like it looks like a build-up wing.
Yeah.
And I only added 3/4 of an ounce to each wing panel by gluing that in and all the glue. So it, they figure if they could get an ounce and a half to glue up a wing like that, I've cut that in half. And I think it's stronger. You cannot move once that's all done up. You can't do that.
I've got some foam core wings. I'm going to have to do that. Too bad I got one of them already done. It's almost ready for paint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It lightens it up. The bad thing is on Samantha airplane, got to be a little bit of a warp in the inboard wing because trim tab I got way the hell up to level of out.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get off here. I gotta get up, take my daughter to school. So I'll catch you guys on the next hangout.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Have a good night.
Take it
See
easy,
you guys.
Frank.
See ya.
Yeah, this business of the storm changed my dialysis schedule, and I had to do it on Sunday. So all day yesterday, I thought it was Monday, and today was going to be Tuesday, and today I still hadn't figured out what day it is. It's still Monday. And that's confusing when somebody kicks your schedule off the tracks.
So, was Sparky on tonight?
Yeah, he came on for a little while earlier. He claimed
Yeah, I
we
was
were on
wondering-
too late for him, so he got off.
I seen that he was trying something new for you, like a split screen or something.
Yeah, everybody will have their own face window, and it's way clearer. And the audio doesn't step on each other. We can all talk at the same time, and it's just like being in the same room with each other rather than, we all have to get used to doing this and wait till somebody finishes and then quickly jump in before somebody else. And it looks 10 times worse on YouTube than it does in here to us. It's almost painful to watch on the reruns on YouTube. And this has, like I said, clearer picture, clear audio, and none of that nonsense. And it's also not searchable on the Google or whatever, and we won't have much of a chance of any spammers dropping in. So we're going to try to get that running. Me and Sparky are going to open that up about 8:30 or so on Friday night. And if we can't get it working right by 9:30, then we'll go ahead and just switch over to this.
So that's not Google Hangouts then?
Nope. And you don't need anything except the link. You click the link. It doesn't matter whether you got Google or anything else, any apps or none of that crap. Just click the link and you're in. Nobody that doesn't have the link can get in.
Yeah, then that'll be just like Christmas time back when I was a kid at my my grandma's house when I had my mom and all my aunts, my grandma, all talking at one time. And then,
yeah,
and then they were so good they could carry on like 3 or 4 conversations at one time, and the rest of us were just sitting there staring at each other like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, me and my cousins still talk about that all the time about Christmas at Grandma's, trying to listen to all the aunts. Grandma talk.
Oh man.
Hey, Rusty, Steve, have you heard about the winter build we're gonna try to do?
Yeah. Yep.
You interested in doing that, man?
I plan on, the plan is to build a chipmunk, bamboo chipmunk, for Samantha for her
that'll work.
Airplane.
All right, that'll work.
Yeah, sure.
I know. Yeah, I didn't know you guys were all going to try to build the same thing or not.
We got Terry and I are building Cardinals, and I don't remember what else. everybody else is, but it's a various assortment. But you know, they still got all the same stuff in them. Just looks different. Some different
Yeah.
types of wings and stuff. But the
Yeah,
basics are all there.
I haven't
Yeah.
decided for sure what I'm going to build. I might end up be building, trying to finish what I got going on down in my basement now.
Nothing
But I
wrong with getting
decided,
finished.
yeah, I decided what I am going to do though is move my computer down into my basement there, where I can set it up where, you know, it's mostly going to be like something like Rusty or um, who does it, building, you know, maybe Sparky, not to his quality, but set it up where people can see while I'm building. You know, at least that would be cool, I think.
I just noticed Terry Forbes posted. He says he's Stunthangar gang, alive and well here in Florida. No power on the generator, no internet or cable. See you all on Friday.
Oh,
All right,
Okay.
Terry. Thanks for
yeah,
letting us know.
yeah. I won't be here Friday or Monday, or I'll be air racing, so I don't know when I'll be back.
Okay, air racing. All right.
Yeah, I'm heading to Reno for the races.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's an every year thing for me and our group. So
I'd
Yeah,
love to do that sometime.
I was planning on taking. Well, I was packed, ready to go if I had to head to Florida. I still got my one down there, but he didn't get hurt, so didn't lose power or anything.
that's cool. You're breaking up again, Steve.
Yeah, your audio is breaking up pretty bad, Steve.
Yeah, it's probably my damn internet.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Boy,
You
there
guys-
was really coming in good at the first there, man.
Yeah, you guys are good clear. The other night when I got off, I couldn't do nothing. But yeah, it seems like it starts out okay and then it just goes to hell.
What kind of internet connection have you got?
I got Infinity, I think, AT&T.
Know nothing about it.
It comes in over the telephone line somehow. I had Charter, but I fought with them for 2 years because that was the same thing. If too many people got on in the neighborhood, you couldn't do nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds like you're on DSL.
Yeah, I could be. Yeah, it probably is DSL. But this actually works better than the other than Charter I had. So I didn't know what else to do. It was
Some areas get good service and some areas don't. I don't know why.
yeah, I guess just
Gerald says his power's back on.
Right on.
where's Gerald from?
New Zealand?
Oh, I thought maybe he was from Florida or something. That's right.
Yeah, he's
Nah.
way up north
Yeah.
of New Zealand, isn't he? North end of it somewhere.
Were they having bad storms there too?
Gerald said he was having, yeah, it's not related to ours, of course, because it's halfway around the world, but it is some kind of bad storm going on over there.
Looked windy
Not
when he
like,
was
it's
on
not
there
like a
earlier.
hurricane or anything.
Yeah.
I think
Looked
it's just
windy, though.
thunderstorms.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, we've had the damn storms here this year.
It's springtime. You know, it's early spring in New Zealand, so they're getting that spring type unstable thunderstorm weather.
Then we got leaves starting to change here.
Ours aren't quite there yet. I guess we're probably about 4 weeks behind you, 3 weeks maybe. I think it's a week for every latitude. So you're about 3 or 4. You're about 3 latitudes up from us, maybe.
Yeah, I figured, week and a half, it'll be probably full color and come down here every week later.
Yeah.
probably 3.5 weeks. Leaves fall.
Wow, you guys get an early fall.
Yeah, usually by Halloween. I mean, trees are pretty much bare.
Arrow leaves really start falling hard the first week of October.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got my rooms in Dallas now. So.
All right.
Minnesota Mike's leaving for Reno Wednesday.
I'll see him down there somewhere.
Yeah. He says he'll be sitting in the Strega pits.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to stop by and see if I can figure out who it is.
Yeah, Gerald.
He'll probably find you. He's probably seen you, Wally.
Gerald,
Well, I'm driving down with 3 other guys, and my 2 daughters are flying. They're flying in. They're going to meet us there. They're only going Friday and Sunday. They're going to be shopping and playing in town the rest of the time, which I don't blame them. Them women have a hard time going there, in that heat, sitting down for, 3-4 days. But at least a couple of days they'll be able to go and enjoy it and spend some time with their old man.
Well, hell, it's all the year, so it should be down under 105 when you're there.
Yeah, I looked on the internet the other day, and it looked like it was going to be low 80s, which is really cool for them because it's usually high 90s when we go, that weekend.
Yeah, I know it.
So, yeah, it'll be nice having a little cooler.
Gerald wrote us. Says the spring storms here are a reminder to get more models ready to fly when the better weather comes.
There you go.
Yeah, he's wishing he could meet Minnesota Mike and Wally up there at Reno too.
Cool.
That'd be a hell of a flight.
Yeah, it would.
Well, he'll know what I look like, but I won't know what he looks like. But Friday I'll be stopping in the Strega booth probably 2 or 3 times. Of course, we'll be making the rounds through all that.
Well, he looks like an old gray-haired ruffian. You ought to be picking out of a crowd.
and then what we do later in the afternoon, we go down on the east end and look at all the static display stuff. They have some really cool restored airplanes down there in the east end.
Will Rare Bear be there and stuff, or no?
Rare Bear will be there, but it doesn't look like they're going to race. They'll be static like they were last year, unless they pull something off that I don't know. They're not listed to race. So
wonder what kind of problem they got.
What happened was the owner, he's from Texas, and he went through a divorce. And last year they didn't race because all of that was tied up with the attorneys in the divorce. Now that's all been settled. So what the story is this year, why they're not racing, it's just speculation on my part. I don't know. And there's a chance if they got inspected yesterday, there's a chance that they might be able to pull it off and race. So I really don't know but most likely it's going to be a no. So I would like to see it fly. My youngest daughter, that's her favorite plane.
Now, what one went for the speed deal there?
That was Voodoo. It's a modified Mustang.
Now, will Voodoo fly at the Reno Air Races or not?
Yeah, they will. They're there. They've already been inspected, and right now on the side of their airplane, it's all white now. They have Aviation Partners Incorporated in big black letters, and then above that they have 531 point whatever it was miles per hour, the world's fastest propeller airplane. So they gave them the record, even though it wasn't 2 or 1% over Rare Bear's record of 528.
It was a secondary record, wasn't it? It was because it was a plane in that weight class.
Well, the weight class is 3,000 to 6,000.
Oh Lord.
And anyway, Rare Bear's in that class, but they gave it to him on the deal that Rare Bear was supposed to be retired or some, I don't know. It's all politics, you know. And the thing is, it may not have got the 1% faster, but it's faster. So what the hell? Give it to him. You know what I mean? It is faster. 531 is faster than 528. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever, you know, whatever.
Did they back it up?
With airplanes, you've got to account for the fact that one day one plane might have flown with more of a tailwind, headwind than the other.
Yeah.
Well, that's just something that you have to gamble on. You know, that's why they flew up here in what they call in the town of May, Idaho, which it's a high altitude. The air's thin up there. The air in the afternoon warm got thinner, and he had a 554 mile an hour run. His first lap was 554, but the last lap was slow because the third run his engine was starting to come apart. So he turned and did a tight bank and bled off some airspeed there, and the last run was way down, but he still ended up with a 531 mile an hour average.
Why did he make a tight turn at the last? Because he wanted to get it going as soon as possible before the engine let go, or what?
That's right. He wanted to be able to finish that fourth lap and get on the ground while he had power before, you know, one thing you don't want to have to do is bail out of an airplane. I've seen that. And, you know, when the airplane goes straight in and it blows up and it's the end of the aircraft. So you want to save your aircraft every way possible. And that's what he did. He got it on the ground. Everything worked. It's all ready to rock and roll now. And it's a beautiful plane. It's as slick as a piece of glass. It is unbelievable.
So where did Rare Bear fly his flight at?
Let's see. He flew his in, that was an 89. If I remember right, they did that in New Mexico, if I remember right.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area, somewhere down there.
So when they do that, though, they really should have an altitude. They should have a certain place that everybody's got to fly. You know,
and you're right. It all ought to be the same. Like they ought to fly it down there in the lake bed down there at Edwards Air Force Base, you know, and that way everything, like you say, everything is the same. Yeah. But, you know, there's a lot of politics. There's, you know, it costs a lot of money to do that stuff. You know how expensive those planes are to keep running, you know, and these guys, they paid a crew to go up there and be, you know, wrenching on the airplane all week long. And, you know, Steve Hinton Jr. flew the airplane, and I'll bet, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they paid him a good 30,000-40,000 just to fly the airplane, you know, just for that. You know, it's expensive, you know, and they partnered up with this Aircraft Partners Incorporated. They build winglets for these jets, the smaller jets, the like CEOs and stuff, you know, these companies that fly these, I don't know, like the Lear jets and stuff. That's what their deal is. Their company builds winglets, and then they partnered up with them. That's how it all came about. Was probably they had the biggest amount of money involved in it. But yeah, it worked out. I mean, I got to give it to them. I watched it all on. You can see this stuff, Steve, on the internet.
Yeah, I watched part of it.
But yeah, you know, it's neat stuff. So I got to give it up to him. You know, 531 is faster than the Rare Bear at 528. You know,
that's the way I'd call it too.
So, you know, and there's different ways of looking at it. Well, they didn't get the 1%. That was the rule. You know, you all this stuff, but it's like whatever. That's the way I see it, whatever. And Voodoo is a great airplane. Strega is a great airplane. Rare Bear is a great airplane. Plus, there's another handful of them that are great airplanes.
Tell me what a Strega is. It's not related to our Stunt Strega, is it?
Yeah.
No. Well, it is in a way. Strega is another highly modified P-51. And Strega, the model was actually designed of kind of a copy of that airplane.
The paint scheme that time.
Yeah.
I don't think the Strega has that
scoop.
Well, no, it doesn't have that like the wave or whatever, the tsunami or wave on it. Oh, the way Wendy painted it was when Strega was painted that way.
Well, you can look on, the easiest way to do it is to just get on YouTube and look up Strega air racing. The Strega paint job hasn't been changed in 6 or 7 years anyway.
Well, I was saying, what I had in mind was more of the body, the architecture of it.
Well, the body's P-51D, and then they took it and put a turtleneck on it, which has a really streamlined low canopy on it.
So it was a D that now looks like a C.
Yeah, kind of, but it's cleaned up. Those two airplanes are definitely the most streamlined, cleaned up, aerodynamically cleaned up airplanes probably in the world that I've ever seen, as far as the Mustang goes.
If you look at Wendy's Strega, the one he flew,
yeah,
that looked like it at the time. I'm not sure if it's the same paint job. It's not the paint job like the Stregas you buy in the ARF kit.
Did you see Rich Jacobone's Strega?
Yeah, I saw it. I like it.
He did the scallops, what they call the scallops. They're the white loops that come around by the tail and come back up towards the canopy, along the body. Yeah. And he put the turtleneck and the canopy that matches it on that model. That looks a lot like the Strega airplane. Other than the paint job, there's some differences, but he did pretty good replicating that airplane.
Well, that's like the Rare Bear. I mean, it was white. It was orange and blue. I don't know what color it is right now.
Well, it used to be white and kind of a brown color, and then they went to a green, and then they went to a gold, which gold stayed on there longer than any of them.
Yep. I remember.
White and gold, and now it's purple and yellow and red and a whole bunch of different colors, and they're all blended in. It's oversprayed. It's a pretty airplane. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's like the Strega and the Voodoo. I mean, wasn't the Voodoo red, white, and blue at one time or something?
Yeah, and
all
then
red.
They went. Let's see. It was all white one year. I can't remember all the different paint jobs that's had through the years. The coolest one was when it was purple and they had the skull face on the side of it. That was really a cool plane.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then they changed it again. But the last few years, it's been the black and white teeth with purple, mainly purple paint. And then it went to a crazy pinkish wing. And, now it's all white, which it's amazing that white really looks good though.
Is the Dago Red still around? When I was a kid, it was the Dago Red.
Dago Red still has the fastest total race time of any airplane. Where Strega has the fastest qualifying at 499. What actually has the fastest lap, I think, is still Strega in a race. And Dago Red was taken over by a bank. No, wait a minute. I got that wrong. It was in the middle of a divorce and it was lost. And then it was bought by some guy that tore it all apart. And the word that I get is it's supposed to be restored into the restoration into a warbird, a P-51D.
Oh, okay.
They still have all the parts to make it, to restore it into a D model. And that's the information I have. It won't race again unless it races like in the bronze class, which is just a stock airplane.
Oh, okay.
So right now it's in pieces. From what I understand, it's in a hangar in pieces.
That sucks.
Yeah, it really does.
Did Cox make the Dago Red, or was that Tester? It seems like one of them made the Dago Red.
No, what happened was Testers made Miss America.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that was in the 70s. And that airplane, from what I understand, I hope to see it this year. It wasn't there for the last couple of years. It's owned by a guy. In fact, I got it's right here, Brent Heisey. I got pictures of all these racers right here. I've got it. In fact, you can probably see it right. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's some of it. That's a framed picture. It's a great big thing. I mean, it's 40 inches tall. But Brent Heisey is a neurosurgeon, and he owns Miss America. And he hasn't been there for a couple of years, but it sounds like he's going to be there this year. And I haven't, when I was reading the chart on who's going to be there and flying and stuff, I don't think I seen his name on the list. So I don't know if he'll be there or not. Some of these guys, they come and they don't race, but the majority of them do race, Okay. If they don't race, sometimes they come and they don't qualify fast enough to race because they have to qualify. There's 8 airplanes in like the gold class, 8 in the bronze class, and 8 in the silver class. So if you're slower than what the 8 qualified for the bronze class, you're just static display. You don't race unless one of those airplanes breaks and you can make the slot to go race where that one broke.
Okay.
And that has happened. There's been a few airplanes slide up in the slots to make the 8 airplanes. And then on Sunday, they'll race in each class 9 airplanes. And that makes, Sunday, of course, everybody goes for the gold class unlimiteds on Sunday because that's the go fast guys where all the money is.
So I know there's always a lot of P-51s, but so you got the Bearcat. Is there going to be anything else there besides the 2 airplanes flying?
Yeah, there is. They fly. They've raced a Spitfire, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
They've raced a P-47 Thunderbolt. They used to race a P-38 Lightning. They used to fly that every year. It was called White Lightning.
Is the Lightning in the same class as the Thunderbolt?
No, the Thunderbolt was in the bronze class. The Lightning worked up, and it actually won the silver class once or twice. Let's see. There's quite a few Sea Furies. In fact, the Sea Fury won the gold one year. Sea Fury is a pretty big airplane.
Yeah.
And let's see, they've had some Tiger Cats that fly, which are the double-engined Navy airplane. That's a cool airplane. They've had a few different airplanes. God, I can't think of them all. They've had a Yak 11. A Yak 11 is highly modified, won second place last year. It's a pretty airplane. It's called Chetmate.
Okay.
Gary Forbes is still with us.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them I can't even think of right now. The P-40s have been in there. A Wildcat, that has the landing gear that you have to wind up by hand off of a chain. An old Navy Wildcat. They've flown that.
They had a Corsair for a while too, didn't they?
Yeah, Corsairs. Yep. There was a Corsair that was by Bob Odegaard. It was white and red. That was like the Goodyear. Remember the Goodyear that they used to fly around years and years ago? Oh, I was before my time, but this guy restored one. He's actually restored that one, and then he restored a blue and a white one. And then he was doing an air show with it and flying upside down, and he put it in the dirt and killed him. And then the red and white one was sold, and I don't know who ended up with it. So I haven't seen it for, say, years. Oh, let's see what else. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to get my programs. I have programs that go back to 1987 when I started going every year. So this is my 30th year in a row.
So now, what about the little airplanes? They put a lot of horsepower in them.
Well, they have several different classes. They have a little midget class that they race those. The airplane can only weigh no more than 600 pounds, I believe it is. And I can't remember what the horsepower rating is, but they race them. They're little teeny jobs. And then they race biplanes like the Pit Specials.
Okay.
And then they also race AT-6s, the Texans. And them are a stock airplane, and all they can do to them is just super shine them up. There's a few modifications they can do to the body, very little. Engine's pretty much just a stock engine. That's a pretty fun race. And then they fly a jet. They fly jets. They race jets. Most of them are L-39s, Albatrosses.
Okay.
And then they fly what they call a sport class. They have an unlimited sport class, and those guys are flying 500 miles an hour. And those are little airplanes, like the Lance Airs.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they do it, it's pretty busy. It's a pretty busy day. They race one class, get it on the ground, do some kind of a show, and then they'll race another class. Same thing on the ground, do some kind of an aerobatic show, and then they get them on the ground. Then there's another class that goes up, and that's just like that every day. And you usually get the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels or the Snowbirds or the Brightlings or some team to fly that's really good precision, like last year they had the Blue Angels. This year I don't know what they're going to have, because I haven't seen the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds or the Brightling team or the Snowbirds on there, so I don't know what they'll do. I just haven't paid that much attention to it this year. Usually by now I've printed out the schedule and all that stuff. I know right down the line, unless they change it down there, which they do quite a bit, what the times are and everything. They all fly. And this year I just haven't done it. I've just been too busy doing other things and I haven't got to it.
Hey guys, I got to get off. My phone's going dead. And so hopefully I'll see you Friday.
Right on. We'll see you, man.
Yeah, I hope we're new and improved when you come back Friday too.
Yeah, maybe my phone or the tablet will work better on this new.
I bet it will. I was just about to say that too. I bet it will. You got better light tonight, don't you?
Pardon me?
You got better lighting tonight, don't you?
That's because I'm on my phone. Yeah, my phone for some reason picks up good. The tablet, it doesn't do with a crap.
Yeah.
So
okay, man. Well, we'll see you Friday.
All right. Have a good week.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. See you, Steve.
So Gerald's still hanging in there, though.
Yeah. He's out there somewhere, and so is Terry Forbes. He's on here watching us.
What you eating there, Rusty?
Mike and Ike's.
I'm not familiar with that.
Are those like the what was them red ones that were hot?
Hot tamales.
Hot
exactly
tamales,
the
yeah.
same thing, except for the hot tamales of cinnamon. And once in a rare while, you'll get a hot tamale in a box of these.
Huh. So that's the mixed batch you got there.
Yeah.
So are those hot, or they're just all just like jelly beans?
They're sort of like a jelly bean, but the flavors are more accurate. That actually tastes like lemon. The orange actually tastes like orange. The cherry actually tastes like artificial cherry, which isn't bad either, actually. So
how many flavors they got?
This is 5. It's cherry, lemon, strawberry, lime, and orange. When I first started eating them, they didn't have strawberry, and it pissed me off when they put the strawberry in, because I love strawberries, but I don't like strawberry flavored shit that's not strawberries, you know, and that includes candy. But I kind of got used to them. When they first started doing it, I used to dump them in a bowl and pick all the strawberry ones out and throw them in the garbage. But I finally just realized that was way too much trouble, and I just eat them.
I might have to try them sometime.
They're good. They got all kinds of different ones now that they've gotten popular. I think I made them popular because I hadn't seen them except once in a while since I was a kid going to the movies, and I started buying them to take to dialysis, just a nervous habit to keep me from going completely insane in there. And I'd tried crackers and all kinds of other stuff, and picked up a box of these one day at the Rite Aid at Revco drugstore, and that was it. I've been eating them ever since while I'm in there, and it carries over to eating them in between treatments. Now I'm an addict, so if I don't get to eat Mike and I at least once a day, I'll have a secret.
Now you're an addict, huh? Right on.
That's funny.
Sometimes I'll bite my tongue eating them too. That really pisses me off.
Yeah, well, I definitely will.
Then I can't eat them for a week, or else I'll bite the same place again. You know what my other candy bar I like is? Payday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You like the peanuts, huh?
I like chocolate bars, all right. Snickers, okay, but I'm not, you know, those are too sweet. I kind of like moderately sweet things. I used to never like sweets at all. I was a salt guy when I was a kid and on into my 20s. But I don't know, maybe Mike and Ike's got me.
Huh. Yeah, I like the solid nut rolls, but I'm allergic to peanuts.
Oh,
some of those nut rolls are too sweet, especially if they got that white side of them.
Hey, Gerald, you're back.
Yeah,
right,
man.
Oh, I had him muted. Hang on, Gerald. I'll unmute you. Come on. I'm trying to unmute you. Talk now. No. Oh, I know what to do. It should fix it, but it didn't. God, I've killed him.
Uh-oh.
I've killed Gerald.
Yeah, I got to go downstairs and fix my airplanes. I got 3 broken airplanes.
Oh, come on. This is supposed to...
What airplanes are broken, Wally?
I've got a Chipmunk, and I've got a
Okay, yeah, I got one more.
Smoothie, and what's my other one? My Nobler.
Oh, wow.
My Nobler is really not broke. My Nobler, the muffler fell off of it, and I got to put it back on. Other than that, it's all good.
Try talking now, Gerald. Oh, crap. I can, if I eject you, can you log back in? Okay. I'm going to give you the Thor hammer of Thor. And, okay.
Come on back.
You got 86 out of here.
Yeah, 86.
Yeah.
Yeah, my airplane doesn't fly very good without muffler pressure.
Oh, okay. What
I'm
engine is
running
that?
I'm running it's a Fox 40, and I
Okay.
got the Uniflow tank in it, so I need some pressure. So losing
Had a horrible thought.
a muffler, it's like that's the end of that run.
I just had a horrible thought. I hope
What's
that ejecting doesn't come with a penalty time behind it. I'm going to type him a message on YouTube.
While you're doing that, I got to take a 2-minute break.
All righty.
Oh, where did he? Okay. I'm typing to Gerald. Okay, boom.
Oh.
Well, I hope we see him again sometime. Minnesota Mike said, damn, Rusty. I'm sorry. Yeah,
It's heartless tonight, man.
I know. It's
Giving somebody the boot.
the hammer of Thor. I should have just kept my mouth shut. Well, you learn something every day. Minnesota Mike booting a paying customer too. Yeah.
I know, that's right.
Yeah, and that's awful.
Very good, Mike. That's right.
I feel terrible now.
Oh, jeez.
I'm letting dead air come in. I'm not supposed to do that. No, Wiley left, and I forgot how to fill the airwaves. I can't get a word in edgewise when Wiley's talking.
Yeah, and I'm quiet tonight for some reason. Well, I'm actually preoccupied. I'm trying to install some software on my computer.
Yeah, I've been playing with my computer too. Outlook crashed, and I wasted a bunch of time trying to fix it the recommended ways, but finally occurred to me, damn, I just backed this thing up yesterday, and so I went over and just copied the file, the PBX or whatever it is file over from the backup right into my folder. Outlook had to drill down to it through about 10 folders, but and then it came back to life, so I made it harder than it should have been.
You been able to do any practicing for the last few days, Charles?
You know what I've been doing? I'm kind of I mean, I want to fly, but I'm trying to get myself to do some things I don't want to do. And so I'm kind of punishing reward kind of thing. So I'm trying to get me to do things I don't want to do. So,
well, sometimes we get in that position where we need to do some we fear it's unnecessary, but it's necessary.
yeah, so I got to just I'm just trying to get some motors listed on eBay and sell them. And it just takes time to do that.
It does.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to install some software for that. But yeah, I would definitely be flying probably Friday for sure. But if I can get, I can reach my goals as far as getting some things listed, I'll probably fly sooner than that. But for sure Friday.
Wow, I was on eBay this afternoon and was going through the engines, and I was looking at those, and I was wondering if any of these are Charles, and I didn't even look to see who they'd been listed under, and of course I would just.
My channel is called Recruit All the Time. Recruit All the Time. It's all one word. So I have right now. I just have. I have it's called a mortise. My dad was a locksmith, and he passed away, and he had a mortise tap set for like cabinet locks and stuff.
Yeah.
I have one of those used. I'm selling a a Fox Combat Special, and I just listed today a Torpedo 40 control line. These are all control line motors.
Okay.
And then I have I'm just getting ready to list a McCoy 35. It's not complete. Doesn't have the Venturi.
Which McCoy 35 is that?
It's a redhead.
Oh, it's a redhead, huh?
Yes, right here. I'll show you. So let me.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I thought the Venturi with that was part of the case, but it's
kind of unusual.
Yeah, it's so that one there, the Venturi goes in, the needle valve assembly goes through it to hold it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was all part of the case. Wow.
But the Torpedo is a real nice motor. It's a actually, I'm not sure about this 40, but I had a Torpedo 35 that, I mean, I had a Fox 36X on my Banshee, and it was flying pretty good, good line tension. Then my cousin said, "You really should try that Torpedo 35. That's a really powerful motor." I said, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah." So I tried that. It's similar to this one. It has the Venturi, the needle valve.
Yeah, you know what? They were torpedoes, and then what happened? They went into K&B. The K&B 40 is the same exact case. It's the same engine.
Yeah. Anyways, I put the 35 on. I put that 35 on that Banshee, right? I didn't change the lines or anything. I think I put the same prop on, and it just screwed me into the ground.
Huh.
Matter of fact, I was so scared that I was going to pull the bell crank out. Now, mind you, I had the Fox 36X on there prior to the Torpedo 35, and all of a sudden, I'm going so fast, and sure enough, I did pull the bell crank out.
No kidding.
That just shows you the difference between the Torpedo 35 and a Fox 36X.
Yeah.
That Torpedo 35, I was like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very powerful motor. Very, like you said, the same case. And the only problem I had with the Torpedo 35 was I just couldn't get a consistent engine run. It would run a certain way, one flight, bring it down, land the plane, wait for the rotation. I get my chance to fly again, start it up, and it was a different engine run. It could have been slower, it could have been faster. It just wasn't consistent.
Huh.
And the guy that was kind of helping me, he just said, "Charles, you know what? I would get rid of that motor. It's just not consistent."
Wow.
You want the same engine run every single time you start that plane up.
Yep.
So I sold that, but it might have been a great free flight engine,
Huh.
Now, I actually haven't used this Torpedo 35, but I imagine, this Torpedo 40. But I do have another Torpedo 35 too, and I'm going to sell a Merco 40 control line stunt motor, and that was a pretty good motor. It had a nice engine run. I just really like the big planes.
Yeah.
I mean, until my health changes and I become more frail or whatever, I mean, I just like the big planes.
Yeah.
They just, I mean, you can fly in wind, and they're stable. They don't move around very much.
Yep.
That's kind of what I like. And like you and I are both big guys,
Yeah.
So it's like I can handle a big plane, no issue.
Yeah. Well, my son, he put together one of those Brodak Stregas, and we put a OS, the SR, which is a pretty strong running OS.
Those are very strong motors. Those are very strong motors.
So we put that in there, and he flew that, and he come back after, of course he flew it 2 or 3 times, and he told me, he says, "You know what? I don't like that airplane, Dad." And I said, "Why?" And he says, "It's too big." That's too big. How can you have too big a control line airplane? Well, and we was flying it on 66.5-foot lines. So anyway, I says, well, don't give up on it. We haven't even got it trimmed in yet, you know. You don't want to give up on that airplane. So anyway, we did a little work on it. And the next time we took it out, he flew that. He only flew it one time, and he come back and he's all excited. He says, Dad, I love that airplane.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, the trim is so significant. I mean, trim is everything.
I couldn't believe it. I was just cracking up. Yeah. But
I really think you can trim almost any airplane. But I tend to, if the plane's really small and light, I can almost pull it out the sky, you know?
Yeah.
My Nobler, which just had that incident, I flew that at a contest a couple years ago, and this guy came up to me because I actually had started the what was it? It was some maneuver that it might have been the hourglass, and I was heading down toward that last corner, and ordinarily a plane would have crashed, you know, but I just pulled that plane from the deck and it didn't crash, you know. And some guy came up to me and he goes, how did you do that? I thought that plane was a goner, you know. And I flexed my arms that I just pulled that plane out. It just wasn't going to hit the deck. And I did. I just physically manhandled that plane and pulled it out. I mean, I might have stalled it, but it was not going to hit the deck. I just pulled that plane out of that last corner. And it to the amazement of this guy who was watching me. And so, you know, I can't do that with a Strega, but I can do that with a Nobler.
Yeah, you know, the other day when I put my smoothie in upside down, tore the rudder off of that thing, I got thinking about that because every time I come around, I got a little lower. You know, I got to get my bottoms right down there, you know, and then my last one, I did get it down there. It was on the ground. But I was thinking that, you know, if I would have done that probably 10, 15 years ago, I could have gave that more down and saved it. You know, it's just my brain doesn't think as fast as what it used to, you know. Yeah, and I didn't stay ahead of the airplane far enough. You know, you got to stay ahead of your airplane.
Yeah.
And the airplane, what happened to I seen it was getting low. Instead of doing something about it there, I just let it keep coming and let it drill itself right in the ground. and you know, you got to stay ahead of your airplane. I didn't do it. And, you know, it's just because I don't fly enough anymore. I used to fly all the time. I don't fly enough anymore. So,
Rusty, what's that expression, Rusty? A rush of dumb comes over you?
What comes over me? A rush of what?
You said an expression a while back, a rush of dumb came over you or something?
I could have said that. That sounds like
rush of dumb come over me.
That sounds like something I'd say.
Well, this guy that was with me the other night, it was funny because I was telling him about, you know, my dad built an old Top Flight P-40. You probably remember the kit that had it had a molded body, and it was only like a 48-inch wingspan, something like that.
Right.
It was for a 35, but they made the P-40, and then they also made a Typhoon, and both of them had preformed shells. Well, anyway, my dad made the wing, and he decided he was going to do a profile body. So he cut out this body, and he didn't use balsa, he used pine.
Oh,
and yeah, and I'll tell you what, that airplane flew like it was really a good flying airplane.
Really?
And
wow.
Yeah, and he put an OS 40 in it, and that thing flew really good. And I'd been flying, you know, a few years before that. I was flying the Chipmunk, or not the Chipmunk. I was before my Chipmunk, but I was flying the Shoestring and a Junior Ringmaster, and I was flying those pretty good, you know, and I was ready to move up to flaps. Well, this airplane didn't have flaps either, but anyway, I was flying that and doing some loops with it and stuff, and all of a sudden And I'd flew that I don't know how many times. It was at my grandma's place one day, and he says, let's go fly that on the baseball diamond. So I said, okay. So I get out there at the handle, and he gets it started, and I'm flying it, and everything's good, and do a couple of loops, and then I do I'm going to do a wing over, and I come across the top, and when I come across the top, I just let it keep coming in, and I went straight on in the ground, and both the wings just fell right off of the thing. And my dad said, well, what happened there? And I just froze. You know, I don't know what it was. I just froze.
Yeah, I know. I've experienced freezing before. I mean, yeah, I've done that. But that's why I like doing the stunt pattern over and over again, so that you have that muscle memory, and you don't do. You know, I won't necessarily have a brain fart and forget what I'm doing if I. I try to do the same. That's matter of fact. That's what was what I blamed what happened to the Nobler is usually when I take the flying lines out and I come back and I take the stooge lines out and I put the stooge lines underneath the flying lines. It's automatic. And then that day I took them both out at the same time to save some time. I just took them both out at the same time. I laid them down and I just didn't think. And so, like I said, I just didn't do what I normally do. I usually have a regimented order of doing things. I do the same thing every single time.
Yeah.
And that way you don't.
That
way you don't have any accidents.
I got some YouTube activity over here. Gerald says to Charles, let's see. Oh yeah, on engine, Bill Werwage was real keen on the Greenhead torpedo 45s, and as I'm distracted from that background noise, and as they were lighter than the Vico or the later K&B 40s, but like the Redhead McCoy could get hot if you had a muffler though. And okay, so Minnesota Mike signed out and said good night, and Terry says, yeah, one P40 and a Mustang with preformed both fuselage sides. And also says Top Flight produced these CL kits in the early 60s.
Yeah.
The molded sides had cracked.
Yep. A lot of them cracked. Yep.
Yeah, I've seen the Gieske Norbler kits had that preformed fuselage sides.
Yeah, I've seen that too. And I can't remember. It's a special color of the box, whatever the color of the box was.
Yeah, it's a blue box.
Blue box.
Yeah, the Gieske Norbler. Yeah, this looks like a nice plane. The Gieske Norbler. I mean, that'd be one plane I would like to build. And you know, I have a smoothie kit that's complete, brand new Brodak smoothie kit. And only reason I want to build that plane is because I tried to build one as a kid, and I went back to my parents' house trying to find it in the attic and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't find it. The only thing I can think of is as a kid, I probably found myself over, you know, just too much of a kit for me to do at that time. So my curiosity is to build a smoothie just so I can accomplish it, you know, because I wasn't able to do it as a young person. I'm not sure how old I was, but I was probably just not skilled enough, and put me out of frustration. I think I threw it away. One explanation I could have. But I can't find it. My cousins go, you had a smoothie kit. I remember. I go, you know, I faintly remember that I did have a smoothie kit. I remember having problems with their wingtips because the wingtips, you know, it's an elliptical wing, and I just had problems with it and never built that fuselage at that time. And so I want to build that out of curiosity, just to kind of, you know, conquer.
If I ever have a plane that I hate, I'm gonna try to wing over it into a freaking trash can.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I've never done that. That would be kind of cool.
That would be a challenge.
Yeah, that would be. Well, if you can do that, that means you're going straight over. You're doing really well. It's a 40-point wing over.
You probably shouldn't be hating on that plane, huh? Do a wing over into a trash can, you probably shouldn't hate the plane.
No, my luck is it pull them lines so hard to break my wrist.
Yeah, 50-gallon drum. I'd just like to hear the sound of it.
I've heard of people doing that, but I've never done that. I've never used that.
Have you ever tried to break balloons, pop balloons?
No,
I've
but I was
seen
just
that.
thinking about that when I was thinking about the trash can too.
You know what? That balloon busting stuff looks like that could really be some fun stuff.
Yeah, with the Bislob.
Well, even with the regular airplane, I've never
All
tried it,
the
but I
old
think
Carl
that'd be
Goldberg his plans used to have a picture of a boy flying a balloon bust. That was some of the suggestions of what to do with your plane.
Okay, that the only time I've seen the balloon bust is with the Bislop. Yeah, that's
I've never flown a bislop. They look like they'd be fun.
I
Yeah, I
never
think
have
that-
flown one either.
I think that'd be fun. Hang on the prop,
Yeah.
basically, just flying on the prop, kind of like those 3D RC planes, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really, I mean, I fly a combat plane once in a while, but my focus really is precision aerobatics. I just like that
Yeah.
more than anything else.
It's fun.
But,
It's such a challenge. It's a challenge to yourself. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
it's probably boring as shit to spectators, but it's fun to do. Because you're never going to get perfect. I mean, you're
Yeah.
always just improving.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I
thing
get-
about spectators is they don't know, the majority of them. Well, it's like if you
meticulous
really
ins and outs.
understand the pattern and you're a judge, I think I could really have a good time being a judge. But if you don't know the stunt pattern, like these guys that I've had with me the last few days, you're just out there flying. They don't really know, I think what I'll do is copy a stunt pattern off on paper and take it out there and say, watch this. Now watch what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And maybe they can learn how to follow that.
Gerald Wimmer cautions us that balloon busting is a good way of model busting if you get a little too keen.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
A little lower, little lower, little lower, wham. Oh,
Yeah.
I got too low like I did the other day.
You don't want to hit the damn post either.
Oh, wow.
And in the old days, I heard that they used to just have they would just try to wow the judges, and they would just try to do maneuvers lower and lower and lower, and they would always try to one up each other. I've heard of some guy
in the
I heard the guy
FAI
who did it.
contest, they still do.
I heard of one guy who could do a wing over, and he actually would roll after he came out, and he'd roll the plane around and go back up. I've never seen him
When
do
I was
that, but I've
telling
heard of it.
about my wheel hop the other night, I wheel hopped the P40 at the bottom on the horizontal eights.
Right?
My second outside when I came around, and you could hear the wheels hit the grass go like that, and it didn't throw it off course or anything. So I went on around and flew it out, and didn't even. I said to myself, I said, "Damn, I'm not going to let that stop me," because we got one guy that I'm flying with, and he's a chicken. If something terrible happens, he'll stop and just fly flat laps until it's over. He won't do anything else. I thought, I don't know how much of this I actually thought in that short amount of time, but I said, I'm not letting that stop me, and I just kept flying. I flew the rest of the whole pattern up until my engine sagged on the climb out of turn 4 to Clover, and I bailed. But still, that was funny though. But they warned me on that P-51 that I needed to reinforce those landing gear, but it didn't seem to loosen them up. And then Wayne flew it after me, and he landed harder than I have with it the whole time I've been flying it. So that didn't seem to loosen them either. So I guess they're okay.
Yeah, it must be.
I knew that when I put it together, but I figured I'd just wait till I bust them to fix them.
Yeah.
I just need to add a support that that's got more surface area holding it tight in there. I think I hadn't actually looked at it yet.
So this wing gear or fuselage gear?
Wing gear. First plane I've ever owned that had wing gear.
Oh. So
I can land it pretty well though.
Oh yeah, the P-40 is. I've flown my friend. I've flown both of his.
Yeah,
and I
it's
actually really like it.
It's floaty. I mean, if you don't watch out, you'll float that thing when you're trying to land.
Yeah, you got to keep your airspeed up, but that thing does land nice, and I just love the view of it when I'm flying it. I just love the silhouette.
I love the blue bottom on it. From a spectator's point of view, that really flashes when you do a wing over.
Right. Yeah. Just like the bottom of my Nobler is all checkerboard, same kind of effect.
Yeah.
When I go in and out of maneuvers, they see that, and it's like a wow factor. And yeah, hopefully I get that going sometime in the future, but I'm not sure when. Yeah. All right.
I think it's about time to call it, boys.
All righty.
Right on.
12:50. So, but hopefully,
Fine.
Terry Forbes says, Gerald, you can use the hurricane for the group build. We'll help you with glitches, and we'll help you with glitches that might arise. So, okay. Anyway, yeah, we hope to come back new and improved on Friday night with a new software that shows everybody's picture more clearly and everybody's audio without us interrupting each other and screwing it all up, for especially when it records on YouTube. It's even worse when you watch it on the reruns. But as usual, I appreciate all you guys, both on YouTube and video side, and appreciate the contributions too. You know, once in a while somebody clicks that dollar link and gives us a little equipment change. Sparky's going to have to buy some new software for this new upgrade that we're doing, and just, you know, just for the appreciation factor. And so we will see you Friday, and between now and then, fair winds, tight lines, and we will see you later. Good night, guys.
See you guys.
All right, good night. See ya.
Have a good week.
Yes, sir.
Same to you, man. Take care.
You bet.